Hello, everybody, and welcome to Low Inc. I am Nox, and I am joined here by DRF. Up first, we're going to have Splatalot Eclipse versus Crystal Coral. DRF, do you have any thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I mean, these are two teams that have slowly developed themselves into recognizable brands in the low-level scene. So certainly going to be a pretty close matchup, as I believe these two teams might be sitting at in or around the same looting division as well.
I believe one's Div 8 and the other is Div 9, although I could have that slightly off.
Okay, well, even in that case, I would say Div 8 and Div 9, there isn't, I don't believe there's that big of a disparity between the two divisions. So it certainly should still be a close one. Could still be a split set. Although, it could, I guess on paper, it could lean, more one way than the other.
And even then, divs don't matter quite as much as everyone likes to give them credit for a lot of the time. They matter, obviously, but they're not the end-all be-all of everything.
Looting divisions are relevant for the first couple weeks of the season, and then by week 3 or 4, it's
they're meaningless again as a tree. And even then, even within the first couple weeks, like maybe teams have just had bad tournaments. Maybe they're suddenly improving really quickly. You never know.
Exactly, especially when you look at like Div 11, where Div
11's just mystery land.
Yes, exactly, and it's half the teams just forgot to put results and whatnot. So, but when we talk about Div 8 and Div 9, I think those tend to be pretty spot on, and we should certainly have a fantastic match here as we dive into game number 1, which will be Splat Zones on Museum de Alfonsino. And Nox, let's take a look at these comps.
Yeah, I love seeing the Explosher and E-Leader coming out. Always fun to see anchors. And I love seeing C Juniors from both sides. I think C Junior is such an incredible support and should be able to apply a lot of pressure to each enemy's anchor. I think that the Pro should have a fairly easy time with the Tetra along with the X-Flow. And the splash for that crab is always something that's helpful to see.
Yeah, I love that C Junior has become such a prominent part of a lot of teams' compositions here with that wave breaker, and it's just to kind of help pressure some backlines. It's truly a very different support than what we were used to in the first 3 months of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're seeing Crystal Coral here being very pushed back by Splatalot Eclipse, as they are just really being forced to try and create some sneaky pushes. Petra managing to find a pick on the Pro there. Another one manages to go down, and this should be a recap. This should be capped for Crystal Coral as long as they don't fall for the crab.
Yes, and they will get the cap indeed, putting their first points on the board. And they're going to actually hold on here, trying to close this gap that Splatalot E established early on here, but no, they're going to go ahead and go 2 down, but to somehow still hold on just long enough to get this lead, and it's a 3-point game in the opening minute and a half.
And we are seeing that Booyah Bomb coming out from Splatalot Eclipse, and we are seeing Crystal Coral trying to find a way back in, only has the E-Leader's Wavebreaker online right now. E-Leader probably looking for a pick to create an opening to allow their Tetra to go in more easily. I believe that's the Wavebreaker's coming out from the Junior. They'll have another Wavebreaker at the ready, and they're about to have Tri-Strike, and all of their specials are getting popped. They're probably going to rush into zone here, managing to recap. As the Pro goes down, this should be a good push from them as long as they manage to get a couple more picks, and they should have the momentum on their side, and there it is, just the Expo left up.
Oh, and I think Halo might have been trying to jump that gap there, but had just messed it up. Trying to support Koopa, but Koopa's not going to need it, as they're going to find the first pick, pressuring the Explosh now, slowly moving up, but smartly going to just stay back and wait for the opposition here to make the mistake. Gonna look for another pick, but no, finally gonna get shut down. But I think they stalled this out long enough now that even though this is going to be a 3v3 situation, but Splatalot E, there's a lot of pressure on them now to try to neutralize and flip this zone, and they're gonna have to pop some of these specials to get it done still, and finally able to do it, but the damage has already been done.
Absolutely, that was a really great push there from Splatalot. They used their specials really well, took full advantage of that Booyah Bomb, and moved up with it. They didn't choose to just sit back and hope that the Booyah Bomb got a pick. They moved up with it and ensured that it would. And we are seeing them just really painting up, getting their specials, regaining ground here, And we are seeing that Junior focusing on getting that wave breaker ready, which will make it very annoying for the enemy team to try and drop, especially on a map like this. And we are seeing the Pro here trying to find something, having to move around quite a bit more than Pros usually want to, thanks to that Booyah Bomb. The Explo getting a great pick there, and they are still chipping away at the zone. But they might not be able to hold it here, as it is just the E-Leader and Pro up.
Yeah, and the zone will change hands as it is Crystal Coral back in possession. They're going to hold on to the zone just for a little bit, though, it seems, as everyone's getting pressured out here. The E-Leader having to jump back, plus the pick on the C Junior, so Splatalot E will get another crack here to go through their entire penalty and tighten this gap even more, possibly taking the lead, because it's not going to take much.
It won't, but we are seeing a lot of specials coming out here from Crystal Coral, and we've seen them move up very well with their specials in the past. Junior's already almost at another wave breaker. They might be able to break in here with that, as the crowd is being pressured back so far. Tetra does go down, but that is a trade in the process, and Crystal Coral is able to recap, and they are trying to find a way to that Explo, but the Pro says, no, my backline stays up, thanks.
And that's going to be a trade there between those two teams. And now the Explo trying to keep control of this zone. Having an E-Leader on the other side has made it so difficult for this Explo to do what they need to do on the backline and also support their team, as they're constantly being pressured back and have to play these slightly awkward angles just to protect themselves from the E-Leader, but they've been doing it so effectively all game long, which is exactly why Splatalot E is as close as they are in this game. Only 10 points and less than 20 on the penalty is all it is going to take this lead back.
Junior was doing a great job just trying to paint there. Sadly did get picked off by the E-Leader at a very impressive angle for the E-Leader to hit. It's just that Explo up again. Explo once again doing a great job surviving, but not near special. There's only 15 seconds left. They don't have time to get specials, really. They're just going to have to go, and Junior will have time to get wave break, because Junior. The Tetra is down, but they need to get into zone now. The E-Leader manages to take out the Explo. That's a lot of their paint. It is just that T-Tech up, though, for Cold Coral, and the Booyah Bomb isn't going to be able to come out in time, and that will be game to Cold Coral.
Very, very close there, as they did get the 3 down, but they needed an additional 2 seconds to flip that zone and push this game into overtime. So unfortunately for Splatalot E, it just wasn't quite there. I think the reset for them just came a little bit too late, but that's all to Crystal Coral's credit, as they got the picks when they needed to in order to push them back enough and just made sure that they didn't have enough time to make a move despite going 3 down themselves.
Yeah, I will say that I think the Pro popping Booyah Bomb in that situation did cost them the paint they might have needed to cap, because they were so close to capping.
Yeah,
and popping that Booyah in that situation is just always such a risk to take, because it can, it takes so long to charge unless you happen to use turbo, which I'm pretty sure most tournaments aren't allowing.
Yeah, no, that's certainly become a hot topic in of itself.
Absolutely.
But now we are going to look towards our next game, which will be Tower Control Undertow Spillway. And with this map mode combo, it's I really feel like the community's still trying to sort of figure out this one a little bit, figure out if this is something that we really like or don't like, and the best way to sort of play it.
I think it's a little early to start banning any map mode, really. It definitely feels a little early on in the game to me for that still. Unless
you're Mahi Mahi Resort.
I like Mahi, so
I actually do
like it.
I actually do love a couple of the modes there, but
I think it's good for Clamblets. I think you just have to be willing to accept a lot of chaos as a treat.
Yes, I certainly agree there that is actually a fresh take. But for Tower Control Undertow, this is there's a lot of room to work with here when you are around that second checkpoint. The first checkpoint comes so quick. It's really insignificant to the greater scheme of the game.
I've noticed. Yeah. I will say that I would expect to see a lot of AoE type weapons like blasters or sloshing machine here. I think they do really, really well on this map. As long as you have enough paint for them. As I say that, we're not seeing any. We are seeing a V Junior come out. I like that pick for tower control. We're seeing a V Junior from both sides. We're seeing that whale coming out, which should be able to pressure the E-Leader to allow the Splat Charger to manage to get in. I do think it's interesting that we're seeing two Chargers here. This is not a map I typically associate with Chargers.
Yeah, and Chargers is definitely fairly effective here. Maybe a little bit less so on tower control. But this is the exact angle that you want to play if you are either of these Chargers. And possibly try to reach out to each other as well, as Lace gets a nice pick there. And let's see if their team is going to be able to start to push up with that as a result. Yes, they will. They do find an extra pick on the Junior. And now this will be the first checkpoint quickly falling for Crystal Coral.
Yeah, we are seeing both Juniors having used their bubblers. We are seeing that vacuum coming out from Lace really going to force them to have to wait to take that tower. Although it's just the shot and Dooley's up. Dooley's might be able to find a pick here. Not quite able to against those Tetras. Tetras trying to find another pick. Not quite able to yet, but applying a lot of pressure to that shot as the shot is forced to completely escape. Junior trying to move in here, trying to fight that 52 gal, managing to force him to back up. It is just the Junior and 52 gal up for Splatalot Eclipse, and we are for Cold Coral. And Splatalot E is managing to make their way back in, using that Trizuka in an interesting way as they get picked off by the E-Leader there. By the Charger there.
Yeah, definitely a little bit aggressive with that Trizuka, but Splatalot E will be able to reset this tower. They do go 2-3 down themselves, and now this will be Crystal Coral that's going to pick up this tower yet again, now with a couple of specials online as well. And take a look at Koopa with the aggressive move here. Gonna get shut down.
When we start talking about Koopa, the shark doesn't quite work out for him, but Koopa's been doing an incredible job on those Tetras, applying so much pressure and just playing the weapon to its, as you would expect it to be played, moving really aggressively forward and creating distractions and openings for teammates, playing that skirmish role really, really well.
Yeah, certainly. I think just got into a little bit of a precarious situation there that ultimately did not work out. And now this tower will reset once more, able to really get that tower pretty much back to where it was. And now though it's 2 down on the defensive end here, this will allow Splatalot Eclipse to make their first push of the game, able to break through that first checkpoint, which will
left up now.
Yes, it'll do a little something for them, but not too much. But the E-Leader gonna get a nice pick there, actually. And that's gonna help buy their team some time to get back into this, and they're gonna quickly find 2 down again. So Splatalot E not gonna let a whole lot slip here.
It doesn't seem like they are, but Lace is hitting so many incredible shots. I do think that if either team had brought out a blaster or sloshing machine, both of the Chargers would be having a bit harder of a time because they can apply so much pressure to those snipes. But we are seeing the Junior and the 52 gal moving up in mid here. Koopa looking for an opportunity to try and cause some shenanigans to happen over there. Managing to look for something, tossing a lot of those auto bombs, just poking and prodding, seeing what they can make happen. Probably going to try and use the shark soon. Not quite able to yet.
That's going to be 2 down.
Banana manages to find a great pick.
Yeah, an excellent pick there that's going to open some opportunities now. A very aggressive Trizuka that's able to take 1 in a trade, and this push is just going to go as far as they can force it, but the bubbler actually comes out from Dusty here. So Dusty is going to try to dance on this tower and force their way through the checkpoint. They're going to barely come short of it, and if someone could just cap this tower, they'll be able to break through the checkpoint, but no, it's Eclipse. I'm saying it is Crystal Coral that is able to touch it, and it's gonna force Splatalot E to go through the entire checkpoint again, and that's a lengthy checkpoint.
Really great pick there again from Banana. Koopa does go down, which was taking a lot of defensive pressure away from Cold Coral here. Junior trying to move in, but they are a Junior against 3 other players. It is not a great situation for a Junior to be in, and this should be lead going over to Splatalot E with that bubbler coming out as the back comes out trying to stop them. The Charger taps the tower, slowing down that checkpoint, but there's gonna need to get another big push in here.
Yeah, and losing this lead so late in the game means that they're gonna have to take this tower coast to coast, as they need to really come all the way across the map now and utilize these specials as effectively as possible. The bubble is gonna help them out, but possibly coming in a little bit too early there.
Getting a huge pick there on the flank.
A big pick. 15 seconds to play.
And the 52 gal has gone down, the Tetras have gone down, the Charger jumping out, leaving just that Junior, but there's only 10 seconds left, and that's a risky jump out from the Charger. Junior trying to find a pick, being forced to scatter a little bit because of the wave break. They're trying to get this bubbler up on tower, probably, and able to, but the wave breaker does take them out. The Charger's on that tower, but it does not matter because a member of the enemy team is also there.
And exactly as we said, Nox, this was going to be a close set, and Splatalot Eclipse has tied this up at 1 game apiece, and we're going to a decisive game 3.
Yeah, always love to see close sets. Always something every commentator and I'm sure every viewer wants to see. Always way more fun.
And even as a player, you know, like obviously you want to be able to just get in and out. And win, you know, pretty decisively. However, these are the more memorable sets as a player when you really have to fight for it and earn it, and you have some back and forth with the other team. And that's exactly what we have here in this Play All 3 set. So this is going to be a close one as we get geared up for Rainmaker on Hagglefish Market. And these games, on Rainmaker Hagglefish Market, I always feel like they're so intense.
Yeah, especially with that jump over from the first checkpoint. It's just, it can go by so fast if you're not careful.
Yeah, it really can. Like, it's, it always begs an interesting question here on what is your strategy when pushing the Rainmaker, because I feel like there are several options and all of them are fair and respectable. If you do want to try to swing the Rainmaker left to get that easier first checkpoint, or do you want to go for the quicker points, which is just holding forward, going down mid, and try to set yourself up for the jump to get all the way to 30 points remaining?
Yeah. I think with Hagglefish especially, it's important to just respond to what the other team is doing. I don't think it's as much of a go in with a firm game plan as it is see where they're going, see where they're paying attention to defensively, and then react to what they're doing. Take advantage of any opening they give you and force it to become wider and just abuse that, because Hagglefish is definitely a map where you can fully just almost spawn camp and make some really quick pushes happen.
Certainly. And here we go, diving on into a decisive game 3 between Crystal Coral and Splatalot Eclipse. Let's take a look at these compositions. Nox, what's standing out to you?
Yeah, I'm seeing double wave breaker out of both teams, which will cause a lot of issues for for Koopa on Tetra there. The double T Junior from both sides. Again, the T-Tech's already down, and we're seeing a T-Tech and a V-Shot. I personally think T-Tech's a slightly better kit, but in this scenario, you might actually want the Trizuka over the Tri-Strike. We are seeing the Wavebreaker coming out already, and we are seeing Laced trying to find a pick here on E-Leader. A switch on who's on which type of Charger from last game, too. The Chargers have switched the Charger they like for this map.
Yeah, that's a good observation there that I had not noticed. And the double wave breaker is going to make this really interesting, as we're just going to see everybody constantly being tagged. A very neutral game to start things out, as well as neither team wants to be the first to pick up this Rainmaker and possibly, hold forward going multiple down, but it's not going to matter anyways, as this will be an opportunity for Crystal Coral to get the easy first checkpoint. They're going to opt to hold it forward, and they will get it.
I will say that was a really good Tri-Strike out of that T-Tech, really allowing their players to just get a lot of space to just get in and get those picks that they needed, as we're seeing them all moving forward now, taking advantage of all the paint they've managed to get while other players were down, managing to get all the way to 12 there. What an incredible move from the Junior on that Rainmaker. And we are seeing 2 players down. I'm imagining that the E-Leader and T-Tech are probably just going to try and hold mid here as everyone's painting up.
A huge play there from Crystal Coral to get all the way to 12 remaining. And that is going to force Splatalot E into a very difficult situation, a mountain to climb early on in this game, as they will need to take this Rainmaker all the way to the other side of the map. And they can't even get out of their base right now.
I will also say that last game, Cold Coral did also start with a huge opening lead, and it did not work out for them at the end of the game. So it definitely can still go wrong.
Yes, and Splatalot E not out of it yet, as they do find 2 down there. So this will be an opportunity for Eclipse to push this first checkpoint. The Rainmaker with a beautiful pick there, and it's going to just be the Tetras that stand in the way, but the Rainmaker ultimately does go down. A great stop there by Crystal Coral, but Splatalot E's not done yet. The Banana gonna pick up this Rainmaker, but not gonna be able to take it up the pedestal. The jumps coming in. This push is certainly not over, but Crystal Coral doing everything they can to protect this checkpoint. Finally, it falls.
It does finally fall, but the E-Leader is still applying so much pressure. Those tri-strikes coming out, allowing the rest of their players to move further forward, although the Junior has gone down. But they're able to reclaim mid a lot here. They're letting it soft reset, which is a choice I really like in this situation. And they are just, both teams are just scrapping over mid here as the Rainmaker resets.
A nice pick there with a Trizuka by Banana, hoping to get things going for their team rather quickly here, as they are now able to move up a little bit with that second pick. Somebody can probably pick up this Rainmaker now, but the question will be, which way will they take it? Are they going to try to get the jump in for the quick points, or are they going to try to take it a little bit slower and opt for a slightly different route? By the looks of it here, they're going to opt to play it a little bit slow to start out and wait for their teammates to start moving up onto flat, because they really need to deal with this E-Leader for one.
Yeah, and the E-Leader's last up, Tetra just respawned. They should be able to make it over jump. The E-Leader and Tetra managed to take out the Rainmaker. They do need to make a big push here. That jump is just not enough after the push Crystal Coral got.
And Banana, being the last person standing, is going to have to back up here. But they're maintaining a decent amount of pressure, not retreating beyond mid, as they are ready to try to stop this Rainmaker, which has been picked up. But I believe that's going to be a hard reset. Yes, it will be. So 1 minute to play, and a pretty close game here. But it's still Splatalot Eclipse. The pressure's on them to get a play done here.
E-Leader keeping an eye here on that Rainmaker, really just trying to make sure that the other team can't grab it. Wavebreaker going to force them to have to move a lot, along with that Torpedo and the drive and the yeah. And we are seeing that Torpedo just doing what Torpedo does best and forcing people out of their positions. We are seeing the DS here having grabbed the Rainmaker. Vacuum's out. This could be a big push for them, but it looks like the Vacuum isn't quite able to get forward here. And the Tetra's not able to find this pick, but it did force the Rainmaker to back up, allowing the T-Tech to get it into the Juniors jumping in and probably going to go down on this jump, but I am wrong. Seems like they did have stealth jump, but that Tri-Strike coming out, countering the Juniors' attempts to pop that Rainmaker. And they need to stay up here. They have 9 seconds left. They need to figure out how to make something work. The Crystal Coral has managed to grab it and is going forward with it, surprisingly. We are seeing Splatalot E trying to find this overtime push, needing to find the picks they need, and needing to manage those specials. But the Rainmaker grabber was the closest to special. Junior's gone down. Wavebreaker coming out from laced here. That is 3 down. It is just the Rainmaker left, and this should be game to Crystal Coral as they try and get in here. Although another one's down, they only have half of their timer left, and they need to get all the way across the map, and the Tetra's trying to move in.
Yeah, they really just need they're in a position now where they can't stall this out much longer, but they do get 2 down. I love the patience here to give themselves an opportunity to get it done, and that's going to be 3 down, but they're going to take it all the way around the side of the ramp, and that might have just done it for them, as Crystal Coral will live to win game number 3 and a set.
What an incredible first set here for this slowing. Just really, really tight games from both teams, really showing what they're capable of, wanting to prove how they earned the divs they got.
Wow. I mean, you can't get much closer than that. And, you know, Nox, it seemed like that overtime just lasted forever, as it really seemed like Splatalot E should have gone down much sooner, but Crystal Coral also pushed that Rainmaker up for whatever reason to allow the overtime to happen, and it gave Splatalot E the opportunity, and then they went 3 down. They should have been over there, but no, then they flipped it and got 2 more picks, and a lot happened there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really great gameplay out of Splatalot E there. They almost managed to turn that around. I do think it is surprising that Crystal Coral chose to move it forward in that situation. I was expecting them to grab and take it back into spawn, and that was not what they did, which was a bit of a surprise.
And it ultimately was the Tetras that came in with the hero play, as Splatalot E opted to take it around the side of the ramp, which definitely isn't the fastest route, but it is just a tad bit safer, but not in that case, as the Tetras was able to make a big move. I think the Tetra
would have had time to get the pick anyway, because of how mobile Tetra is, and the positions they were coming in from, and how you can angle your jump in this game. So I think in either case that they kind of needed to rely on the Tetra to mess up in that scenario to some degree. Just because that's a really rough situation to be in. You can play it near perfectly and still need the other team to mess up.
Yes, certainly. But you really can't get much closer than that. I think both teams executed nearly exactly what they needed to in that last game. And ultimately, it falls Crystal Coral's way. They will take the set at 2-1 to start off this fantastic low ink. And wow, that's only round 1.
And we will see you back in a little bit for round 2. Make sure you stay tuned in.
Welcome back, everybody, to Low Inc. December 2022. I am DRF, once again joined by Nox, and we have a fantastic round 2 matchup with some name brand teams, Nox.
We have Marine Melody here and Rolling Squids, two very well-known teams. I believe both have finally graduated out of Little Squid League and are here to fight it out in Low Inc. Marine Melody and Rolling Squids have been around for forever. I believe Marine Melody's actually broken 2 years now, which is incredible. With Lily as the captain for all of it. It is relatively unheard of. Game Boy's been around forever. Luples is a newer player on their team, but I believe they play Charger along with some aggros, which is really cool to see. And Rolling Squids...
Yeah, on the side of Rolling Squids, Toasty, Yume, definitely some very recognizable players. Koreki, a little bit more of a recent addition to that roster. And this is almost a Purdue adjacent team for those that were familiar with Powell.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of players that used to be on there. There are definitely still a lot of Purdue teams around, but Rolling Squids definitely stole a couple players that used to be there. This definitely should be a really great game, though. And we're starting out on Clamblitz Brinewater, expecting to see some crabs out here on this one.
Yes, certainly. As, I have not had a chance to take a good look at Clamblitz Brinewater Springs, but it's a very just tight-knit map, and it seems like just crab. Crab is the main weapon you bring out here. Forget anything else. It's the crab.
I will say that I think anchors can also do really well here if the other team happens to be running an all-shooter comp. It's definitely a map where there can be a lot of counterplay. It's definitely, at least in my experience of playing on it and watching VODs of it, it's a very counterplay-heavy map, especially in this mode, of what is the other team going to bring out and what can I do to ensure that we're not going to get beat up by it. Because especially if they're bringing out like a Charger or something, they can cover the whole map nearly. A heavy Splatling, I ended up having to go against Bliss's heavy Splatling in X-Rank the other day, and that was an adventure. That's a top player on heavy Splatling on a map where they can see the whole map. Oh no.
Wow. Well, let's see what these teams ultimately bring out for us here in game number 1. Let's take a look at these compositions. We do get a mini there, along with some splatter scopes. Some very interesting choices, actually.
Yeah, we are seeing one crab coming out, but one's a low number of crabs these days. I am surprised to be seeing the vanilla splatter shot over the T-Tech yet again. I just think Tri-Strike's such a great special for forcing space, especially on a map like this where it is so linear and narrow. And I am surprised to see Hammer coming out. Not that it's as bad as it was at launch, but it's still Hammer. It's still... And we are seeing the machine go down and the crab coming out here.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little bit of a bloodbath early on, as I'm actually a little bit surprised to see Yume on the back line here, and they're gonna get really pressured, not able to find any great looks here, as now it's going to be most of this clam economy in control by Marine Melody, and they're gonna go ahead and get that first score in, as this Hammer looking to stop anything else. A nice double there, looking for the triple. No, not gonna find it, but the team does go 3 down anyways, and this will be a 1+3 situation for Marine Melody. An okay start to get things going in the first minute.
Yeah, and we are seeing this machine trying to move up here, having to back off a little to avoid getting shot by that Charger. And we are seeing these fizzy bombs being thrown. They are getting dropped by the Splash. Splash might be able to win this fight here, and they do, as Game Boy is going to move up into mid here, trying to find another pick, able to get it, and that is 2 down. This could be a big push here, but they don't really have enough clams to make anything happen. They're getting close to 8 with the score they have. They really want to get more than that. They really want to get a better push in than just a power clam and a couple more this time.
Yeah, certainly, and it just seems like the clams are not spawning their way right now, as now it seems like they're just going to hold on to map control a little bit, as Rolling Squids struggling to break out of their side of the map. Marine Melody keeping this pressure up, and take a look at Nino there. That's ready to make a push happen, but no, it's going to be the Charger plus the Hammer. A 1-2 combo here. That's going to find 2, make it 3, but Rolling Squids lose 2 themselves, so they're going to have to take this opportunity now to get a little bit control of mid, but I don't know if they're going to be able to push up much with only this slight numbers advantage to work with.
Yeah, we are seeing Loopholes keeping a really great eye on that ramp. Mini trying to find a way in, but there is no sneaky way for a Mini to get places generally. It's a Splatling. You have to be pretty visible to play it. Although, I will say that they do have Marine Melody pretty locked out right now. We are seeing that Hammer coming out, but the Hammer manages to get 2. And I was about to say it's going to matter that the Hammer is the one holding the power plant, but not if they get a triple like that. It no longer matters in that case. I will say Nino doing a very smart thing here of just building up their special and waiting for their teammates, not panicking and rushing in to stop the clams. It's not a completely desperate situation. There's still plenty of game left. I like seeing that decision from him. We are seeing the Splash trying to get a pick there, not quite able to make it happen, as Yuumi is applying a lot of pressure, taking good advantage of those squid rolls, but Loophole's able to take him out with that splatter scope and pushing up into mid here, trying to find another pick. Probably going for the super jump, not going to be quite able to get it thanks to the angle of that wall. And we see Vacuum at the ready. They are getting close to 2 power clams, and Vacuum is out. They're going to try and push this really hard here, but they don't have any of their front lines moving up with them. They need their front lines to get in here with this back. Back on its own is not a powerful tool, and that is 2 down to Wavebreaker there as Toasty manages to take him out.
And this is going to result in a little bit of more of a neutral game once again, as Rolling Squid trying to get that yellow paint down in the center of this map, which Marine Melody has had control of for most of this game, barring the one push we saw out of Rolling Squids. But Marine Melody has really established themselves as the team that sets the pace here, even though they do find themselves in a 27-point deficit at this stage.
Yeah, but they're starting to gather a lot of clams. They've got all their specials ready. This could be a big push from them as soon as they get that power. The splatter shot is 1 clam away from it. Looks like they might be trying to juggle clams to get it. They were able to. Vacuum came out from the Charger. We are seeing Bubble still at the ready from that Junior. It's finally able to come out. Power clam's probably going to try and jump into it, but not going to be able to. As the Mini goes down, Junior's gone down, and they're kind of waiting a little bit too long on this push. They used all their specials and didn't really get any value out of it.
Nah, it doesn't seem like it, as now they are trying to inch their way forward just a little bit, but the P-Tech goes down there, and now things are just starting to fall apart a little bit for Marine Melody. They need to just continue to play a little bit patient here. They can't afford to go all down, but that's going to be a delayed wipe, and Rolling Squids are going to pick up a lot of control here, picking up the clams as well, and they're looking to make a victory march here as they inch their way towards this basket, trying to put the nail in the coffin, and they're ready to do it. There is the final power clam, and that should certainly do it. Rolling Squids will take game number 1.
Yeah, really great gameplay out of Rolling Squids. They're playing smart, playing patient. I will say Marine Melody didn't really move up with their specials the way they needed to there, I don't think.
Yeah, it's something was just a little bit off there in terms of the coordination for Marine Melody. They established themselves early on in the first 2 minutes as the team that was setting the pace, and they had so much map control. It seemed like Rolling Squids, I would say that we were even wondering there for a minute if Rolling Squids was going to find an opportunity to break out into mid and eventually score. They finally did so about halfway into that game, but Marine Melody set the pace most of that game. They just could not convert that though.
Yeah, I do think that we definitely just saw a little bit of an off moment there for Marine Melody in regards to how they handled that push, especially in a mode like Clam Blitz where every push you get is so important. But they've got another chance here. They've got this chance at Slot Zone's Inkblot, and hopefully we see another critical game 3 to see which team takes the set.
Yeah, certainly. That would make this set quite exciting and continue to give us a great start to this low ink, as we are looking at Splat Zone's Inkblot Art Academy for our game number 2. And with this map mode, it's we definitely are gonna see some weapons that can work those ledges a little bit, or certainly, I would hope so.
I expect to see that machine coming back out that we just saw.
Yes, the machine would be a fantastic pick here. Those backlines are most certainly staying, but the question I think will be, are they gonna, are they going to pivot to other choices there? E-Leader possibly coming out. So it just really depends on what
see
they're
more
comfortable.
chargers coming out. I do know that a lot of anchors right now, especially with Splatoon 2 maps, are tending to shy away from them a bit more, just because Splatoon 2 map design does. The maps that kind of come back from Splatoon 2 don't reward anchors as much as the Splatoon 3 maps seem to at the moment. I would expect to see more of an Explo or something like that if we see an anchor, or even maybe a Hydra here. I don't think it's the best charger map. I think with weapons like Machine, you just get shoved around too much in bombs, and bomb pressure works too well with how small the plat is that you can stand on.
Certainly. Well, let's take a look at what they ultimately bring out for us here as we dive into game number 2. As Rolling Squids are up 1-0 in this round 2 set. We got an E-Leader, and there's the Machine that we were talking about, and Marine Melody matching that with another Machine and E-Leader. So a couple mirror matches here.
Mm-hmm. Interesting to see the Mini coming back. I would expect to see a Zimmy even over a Vanilla Mini. But it is interesting to see it coming out. Not a weapon that you see very often. Lupul's applying a lot of pressure here, switching from a scoped variant to an unscoped for this game. And trying to find a pick here. Not quite able to find anyone yet, but applying a ton of pressure and able to apply enough pressure that their teammates are able to get them 2 down, although the Junior has gone down to that Machine on right, but they are forced to jump out.
Yeah, so a great start here for Marine Melody as they get those 2 picks, force a couple jump outs, and now just hovering right underneath Flash. Rolling Squids has to play this very cautiously. They don't want to make any sort of drastic moves here. They're going to have to try to utilize this height advantage to get a couple of picks. But Marine Melody is just playing this so well at this stage. But they do find the E-Leader, and that's going to be an opportunity for them to move in, as Kareki is going to be the one to lead this charge here, able to get a couple of nice picks. But no, it's not enough to flip this zone. And that is going to be Marine Melody holding on.
Yeah, Marine Melody doing a really great job there of managing to keep just enough of the zone controlled, able to take out everyone except for that E-Leader, allowing them to recap the zone. They're pushed all the way to 30. I'm imagining both teams have at least a few players on LDE, so at this point, Rolling Squids will have full LDE active. They've managed to take 2 out. They should be able to paint here, but the Zuka coming out, taking out another player. Machine trying to paint the zone here. Splattershot not quite able to outpaint it because of having that Trizuka out. Trying to find a pick on the Machine here does go down to it, as the Machine is able to just fully secure that zone. And now Marine Melody is going to have to fight their way back in as the T-Tech over here is working on getting that tri-strike, and the E-Leader's watching over their plat.
Oh, how the tables have turned. Rolling Squid now in the position that was pushing back against them, but the E-Leader goes down. So this is exactly what caused Rolling Squids to get back in. So Marine Melody looking to do the exact same thing here, but they have not been able to secure the zone. They get the neutral with 3 down. This will certainly flip.
Yes, absolutely. It was just the E-Leader left up, and there is a suction bomb being thrown up there, forcing the E-Leader to have to scatter a little bit, allowing the Splattershot to move further forward, allowing them to apply more pressure. And they're able to take out the E-Leader. Junior seems to be moving up and giving their E-Leader a bubble for a little bit, really just ensuring that they get to hold that top mid area as Marine Melody's Game Boy comes back into the zone and is going to be able to apply a ton of pressure below that ledge, especially with the Junior throwing splat bombs up there.
I really love that use of bubble, though. they realized that that's exactly how the zone had flipped both times so far, and they were like, you know what? Like, let's keep our E-Leader up there. Let's make sure they stay up there for just a little bit longer. Ultimately, Rolling Squids does flip the zone here, but it did buy them just enough time to work through most of that penalty.
Machine doing a great job here of knowing the angles they can stand at while not being at risk of getting shot by that leader, although the other Machine is going to come in and say, hey, stop challenging me here, and forces them to have to back off. As we see that Booyah Bomb almost at the ready from both sides. Booyah Bomb coming out here from Marine Melody. E-Leader has gone down. Junior managing to get a pick, taking out the other Booyah Bomb. Bubble coming out, able to get the trade. This is just the E-Leader up again, and we need to paint the zone here, but they are choosing to go for picks instead. They need to neutral it before they manage to lose lead, and they should be able to here. Yeah, just the Machine up. Machine goes down easily as the E-Leader had jumped out.
Marine Melody back in control right in the nick of time there. So now it's going to be them working through this penalty, which Rolling Squids all coming out of spawn here. Most of this penalty should evaporate as they can start getting some more points on the board, and the pressure is now on Rolling Squids to try to work their way back into this zone and prevent the knockout, give themselves an opportunity, and they're going to be diving in, but they go 2 down.
And this should be zoned back to Marine Melody. It is. E-Leader trying to find a pick on this player moving in on right. Not quite able to yet. And they are being forced to move around because of that bomb spam that I was talking about earlier. E-Leader is a risky pick on this map because you can just get locked out by those bombs, and Marine Melody manages to take game 2.
And we are off to a decisive game 3 in back-to-back sets, as this is a tied set, 1 game apiece. Marine Melody getting it done on Splatzone's ink blot, doing exactly what they needed to do. And I love the small adjustments that they made there during that game to give themselves the upper hand and ultimately ride that out to a knockout.
Yeah, they did a really great job there, just doing what they could to make sure they were playing as safe as they could while still getting the picks they needed. Doing just an incredible job of making what needed to happen get done, just like Rolling Squids did in that Clam Blitz game. These are very equally skilled teams, and it's so cool to get to see them go head-to-head like this.
Especially, I mean, being the name brand teams that they are, that just adds to the excitement. Rolling Squids and Marine Melody have been around, as we said, for quite some time. So that just continues to add on to, how close these games have been and how exciting the set continues to be. And Tower Control Mako Mart on deck, and that will certainly, make... I don't think we can end this off on a better map mode combo.
I do think that it'll be an interesting one for sure. Definitely expecting to see machines here again. It's just such a ledge-heavy map that machines do so well here. And once again, because there will be machines, it makes the pick of a charger way more finicky, because it is so hard to stay in positions, especially when the other teams have been running juniors, which will throw bombs at you the whole time. And so it's just forcing so much movement.
Yeah, and those juniors are definitely going to be, the junior is going to be coming back for sure. I would think at least
Lily,
the vanilla junior from Toasty
is a one trick, and I believe Toasty plays just a lot of it. I would be surprised to not see juniors coming out here.
Yeah, so those vanilla juniors, for the bubble to ride through that tower, to ride the tower and hopefully get some safe checkpoints. Those are going to be very pivotal here in what has established itself to be a backline heavy meta as early on in Splatoon 3. But the juniors are, I think, what we're going to have to watch out for.
Yeah, I also would love to see that T-Tech come back out, especially in a mode like Zones, where Tri-Strike can, at the end of the game, do a similar job to Booyah of just, hey, my tower, don't touch it.
Let's take a look at these compositions. Kareki with the Luna Blaster. And I love this pick. I forgot that Kareki had a Luna in their pocket. So a great choice that's going to be able to work some of those ledges, especially as you progress between checkpoint 1 and 2 if they get there. That's going to make things really, really difficult to push back in if you're Marine Melody.
And we are seeing a lot of burst bombs coming out here from this splash. We are seeing a crab tank, which is not a shock. That is 2 down for Marine Melody already. Rolling Squids probably going to try and capitalize off this. Lily tries to jump out, not quite able to. Rolling Squids is on tower here. E-Leader forced to back off really far. Can't find any picks right now, just trying to stay alive. We are about to see that zip caster from the Luna. I imagine they're going to try and focus that E-Leader when they get the chance to. Able to pick on the shot, as they do sadly go down to that section bomb there, as we are seeing the vacuum coming out from UMB here.
And the Booyah Bomb as well, going to make things very difficult for Marine Melody to get back in here. But it's Loopholes with presumably the pick there to get it done and slow this tower down just a little. But this push is certainly not over, as Marine Melody still finds themselves 2 down, and the second checkpoint will fall. Rolling Squids on a roll here, able to get through 2 checkpoints. Kareki, the last person standing, and this push is just about over. But Kareki doing everything they can to keep this tower alive.
Kareki did not like you saying the push was just about over. They're doing a lot here, keeping it alive. Managing to really stall out Marine Melody, doing a great job of pointing out, hey, Luna can also watch these ledges. Watch this. We don't need a machine. We've got a Luna.
I mean, yeah, that Luna pick is already paying dividends here for Rolling Squids, and I just don't know if Marine Melody was quite ready for it, as Kareki just continues to be on a tear. The rest of the team doing everything they can, I think, to support Kareki's rampage, as this tower now progresses to the 3rd and final checkpoint. Marine Melody running out of time to come up with answers here, and Lily's gonna try to make a play here and get able to get the trade. Toasty, the last one standing, and now this push is finally over after 2 minutes.
It has been 2 minutes, but Marine Melody has a kind of comp that definitely can make this happen. They do have a lot of like endurance-based specials like that crab and big bubbler. And we are seeing Loopholes there on that tower. They kind of do need their front lines to move up a bit more here to support that tower, as they are going to get picked off here. Lily trying to find a pick on this Luna here. Not quite able to, but able to cause a bit of chip damage, able to get them to back off for a second. E-Leader looking for a pick, not quite able to find it yet, as we are seeing the Luna just causing havoc on these stacks and able to find 2.
Oh, this game is just all Krakens and Krakens with a triple.
Game Boy doing a great job sharking here, waiting for the right opportunity, doing a great job playing it safe and waiting. Waiting for that bubbler to go down. Not going to be able to find a pick on the Luna, but able to get into some chip damage to help their teammates. Distracting the Charger a little bit. They do have that Crab ready, so they want to play it safe. Crab coming out, applying a lot of pressure to that left stack. And not quite able to find any picks, but does clear out that left stack, allowing their teammates to move forward.
It seems like Marine Melody is finally going to be able to breathe just a little bit here after taking out Kreki for a minute. And that's now Nino with the Trizuka able to get one. And finally Marine Melody is able to get some paint in mid. And with the 3 down, this is going to be a big opportunity for them.
And the last one jumped out. Charger just respawned, and we are seeing Marine Melody finally being able to push the tower here. Gonna try and be able to get the checkpoint, but the water shot went down to something. Lupo's keeping an eye on that area, but not quite able to manage to stay alive to get that check. Junior trying to move in, applying chip pressure with those bombs. Crab looking at that big bubbler, trying to take it out, but not able to do much because of the big bubbler being in their direct line of sight.
Yeah, that big bubbler doing just enough to, allow them to maintain some space there and protect them from afar. And now, though, it's Marine Melody that's going to find themselves 3 down, making the delayed white, able to get at least 1 pick there to buy themselves maybe just a little bit of time. And it's Rolling Squids that are now on the offensive with 40 seconds to play. Marine Melody's going to need to come up with a big defensive stop now.
Yeah, Rolling Squids is definitely coming in with the idea of the best defense is a good offense, and it's working out pretty well for him here. As you see Game Boy trying to make something happen. Moving in with this Zuka, great team play there, taking advantage of their teammate Zuka to create an opening for them. Yumi able to get a pick on that Charger. They're pushing the Junior, able to get them just the Pro left. I don't know where the Pro is, though. I don't know if Marine Melody does either, as they are painting up here. The Pro left in spawn with that Booyah Bomb ready. They're probably going to hold it for those last couple seconds, though, which will force Marine Melody off the tower, even with a big bubbler.
Certainly, and that is exactly what the Ford Pro is going for. Able to force the players off, and that will do it. Rolling Squids will win game 3 and the set 2-1.
Yeah, really incredible job there in that game out of Rolling Squids. Kreki doing a great job on that Luna, and the rest of Rolling Squids doing such a great job of enabling them and supporting them. The Pro holding that Booyah Bomb for such a great time, and Yumi just applying such great pressure and using those vacuums so well on pushes.
Yeah, I mean, Rolling Squids did everything they needed to there. It definitely helps that Kreki was able to come up big time on some triples and doubles that really opened things up for their team. So, and ultimately building up a massive lead that was just insurmountable for Marine Melody there. So, congrats to Rolling Squids. Marine Melody put up a fantastic fight, but ultimately going to be coming up short.
Yep. And we will see you back in a few minutes for round 3 of Low Inc. Make sure you stay tuned in. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round 3 of Low Inc. I am Nox, once again joined here by DRF, and we have Ika Inc. versus Ikaryoku. Do you have any thoughts on this set?
This is gonna be an exciting one to commentate, that's for sure. Oh boy, these are two teams with very similar pronunciations here that are gonna get us maybe a little bit tongue-tied. But at least from what we know, Ikaryoku is Division 8 in Ludi. Ika Inc. Definitely not super familiar with them, but given Low Inc, hopefully every set is relatively competitive, and I would say at this stage, round 3 is when you really should start to be getting a lot more of those even matchups. So I'm hoping that that's the case here.
Yeah, absolutely. I do believe I've seen BK Kalin around before. I don't quite remember what they play, but they're definitely a player I've seen around for a long time. Everyone else is pretty new to me. It's fun to see a Goku coming out. Always fun to see a Goku. During one of the during the last Nintendo event, my team ran into a team that was just 4 different Gokus as a treat, I guess. Sometimes there are 4 Gokus.
Sometimes there are.
And we are going to be starting on Rainmaker Eeltail. Do you have any thoughts on Eeltail as a mount?
Eeltail Rainmaker is fantastic. With Eeltail in general, I do think it is a little bit overrated. But for Rainmaker, I think it is very competitive, and so exciting. It does tend to be a very high scoring game anytime that this comes up. But it's going to be interesting to see. The story is always, what do you do after the first checkpoint? Are you going to take it across the glass or take it a little bit safer but longer way all the way around towards that ramp, which we've seen both be very successful in this game so far. What are these teams going to opt to do?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what weapons come out here, considering that we don't know a ton about these teams. And we are seeing an E-Leader coming out from Ikaryoku, and we are seeing a Range Blaster coming out from Ika Inc., which is not a weapon that we've been seeing a ton of, but it's always fun to see. I think Machine and Range Blaster do really, really well on this map because they can apply so much pressure to anchors like E-Leader just around those ledges. E-Leader running that respawn Punisher, so everybody's going to want to be playing very carefully around them.
Yeah. And early on here, both teams just trying to get a little bit of control, and trying to dodge this E-Leader, certainly, if you're on the side of Ika Inc. And they're going to be able to pick up this Rainmaker, push it just a little bit, but that's always the risky part about being the first team to possess the Rainmaker on Eeltail Alley, is that you can't get shut down early. You need to be certain when you pick up that Rainmaker, because otherwise it's so easy to go 2 down and then the other team picks it up and just goes on a roll themselves.
I do like seeing the Dapples coming out here. Dapples is really, really good at shredding that Rainmaker barrier faster than, I believe it is the fastest weapon in the game at the moment. And we are seeing that Range Blaster trying to find a good way to poke into mid, but not quite able to. They don't have enough paint on the ground for the range to really be able to do a ton. Having to go for the direct, they're not quite able to get it. And they are trying to find the pick, but do go down to that splash. And the E-Leader is set up in a very strong position here. Looks like they're going for that right checkpoint first. Not something that you see very often, but the E-Leader sadly does miss a shot on that 52 gal, allowing him to get that pick. And the Rainmaker stalled out yet again before the checkpoint.
Yeah, and now they're definitely going to have to let this Rainmaker go, but they're keeping a nice strong position there. And of course, as they say that, they are going to go 3 down. So this push is effectively dead and very much live for Ika Inc. as they will pick this up and start adding points to the board. Should be able to get the first checkpoint here pretty easily.
Good booyah here out of Cal, and able to apply a lot of pressure, able to keep this push going. They're grabbing, looks like they're going to have to go through left as glass is being really heavily guarded, but I seem to be wrong. They try and get through glass, not quite able to, but able to get to the start of it, which is still pretty good. It's still another solid 10 points on the board after that checkpoint, which is always great to have. And we are seeing Ikaryoku getting back into mid here as the E-Leader holding this Rainmaker, so anyone that goes down to that Rainmaker right now will get respawn punished, so you gotta be really careful about that. Machine goes down, Rainmaker up in mid, and the Blaster's trying to move in. Not quite able to find the pick yet, but will almost assuredly be able to help find it, yeah.
And there it is, as that is now, they pushed that Rainmaker pretty far back, and this is in a precarious position for Ikaryoku, as now this Rainmaker will get picked up, and more points might be added onto the board. No, they're going to come just shy of where they had left off. But still in a good position here. The Blaster, the last one standing, and they're going to be able to come up with a stop here should Ikaryoku pick this one up. Yes, they will, but opting to take the high road, which was a great choice there, as now the Blaster is not going to be able to make a play, and this Rainmaker will at least get reset, possibly pushed up just a tad bit.
Yeah, Rainmaker does manage to move forward a bit, but they still haven't been able to get that checkpoint. It is just the E-Leader up there going for this pop here. Machine able to get it. Machine grabbing here as they're trying to move that E-Leader out of position. Wavebreaker coming out, but so is that Whale, and the Wavebreaker is not going to matter that much if they have enough paint on the ground for the Rainmaker to just be able to move around it. And they are just trying to move forward here, trying to find space, trying to take advantage of the time they have. They know they don't need to rush this a ton right now. They know that they have a decent lead. They know, and also as long as you're pushing the Rainmaker, the other team can't be. So that's always pretty great.
Yeah, certainly, and now the Rainmaker will finally go down, but it's Ikaryoku who's 3 down, so this will be some quick points on the board for Ika Inc., and they're going to be able to attack on quite a few more. This would actually be a knockout. Yes, it will.
Really
Ika
great game.
Inc. with the win.
Incredible gameplay there out of Ika Inc. Really great job just waiting, taking their time, and knowing that they didn't need to rush that. They were able to get the picks they needed, and their Rainmaker carrier had really great sense to not overextend there.
Yeah, they did that very well. I mean, I thought for sure that Rainmaker was going to go down at some point, but they just kept pushing it a little bit more across that glass, and finally just walked up to a pedestal with no one else around, and was able to get the dunk there. So it's Ika Inc. that takes game number 1. And in dominating fashion, really, despite Ikaryoku's best efforts in that opening minute, I felt like that they really came off with a strong minute there to establish quite a bit of map control and put the pressure on early, but Ika Inc. flipped it very quickly.
Rainmaker, especially on a map like Eeltail, is determined a lot by momentum. A lot of Splatoon is momentum based, and especially in Rainmaker, if your team has the momentum, it's really easy to just keep inching it forward and inching it forward. Enforcing things that you wouldn't necessarily expect to be able to force all the time.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of momentum, we're going to be looking towards game number 2, which is Clamblitz Scorch Gorge. And this is very much also a momentum-based map mode, and I love it.
It's great. It's the map mode I've been enjoying a lot. Definitely expecting to see those machines come back here. I would love to see, instead of maybe a range blaster, a regular blaster coming out, because that big bubbler is so helpful for pushing on this map specifically.
Yeah, it really is. You know, if you're able to get your support underneath the basket, you could just set it up, and you could get some much easier jumps to come in to crack open that basket. So would love to see some bubblers come out. Crabs are always fantastic, as you can play from mid and reach onto the enemy snipe, or play a more aggressive crab. If you're able to get most of your team up underneath the basket, that crab can pop up as backup and really make it difficult for the other team to come in. Ooh.
And we are seeing a tri-stringer come out. We are seeing double whale out of Ika Inc. And out of Ikaryoku, we are seeing that tri-stringer and a junior for that bubbler like we were talking about. We are still seeing that range blaster come out along with that machine, which will put a lot of pressure on that tri-stringer pretty much no matter where they stand. But I do love seeing the tri-stringer. Always a great time. And we are going to see a crab out of Ikaryoku also.
Yeah, so some interesting adjustments here. And I think I really like what both of these teams are ultimately bringing out for us as getting geared up here. It is a little bit of, a couple picks, slight bloodbath to get things going as these teams trying to get some map control and some picks to establish that clam economy in their favor.
Flash is definitely pushed up pretty heavily there. Doesn't get punished for it, though. And the Brush is going to try and do a Brush shenanigan of just running by everyone, but not quite able to get away with it with 3 people there. Blaster looking for some picks here. Did manage to find one on the machine, but is kind of just stuck in that corner right now. Very painted in, and their teammates haven't really been able to help them out of it.
And now it is Ika Inc. that maintains quite a bit of this pressure. They have a power clam, and both teams have a power clam now. And they've been trying to inch forward, but then they take like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, make sure they stay position, then go ahead and take those 2 steps forward again. So definitely like the way that Ika Inc. is approaching this to start things off. And with that 2 down, this could be their opportunity.
Yeah, and we are seeing them moving in really fast here. They don't really have specials at the ready, but with 2 down, you don't need as many, although the whale is coming out here, going to apply a lot of pressure. And the Bo is doing a great job of just spacing, which is one of the things Bo is so great at. Not quite able to do it well enough to stop those 2 power clams from getting in, though, as the 52 gal does go down, and the Brush is just in respawn. So that should be the end of that push, as Ikaryoku should just be able to reclaim mid here, regather themselves, get clams, and regain space and paint, as the Brush is doing Brush things.
And it's very quickly Ikaryoku that's trying to utilize this bubbler to get their team towards that basket, but ultimately going to lose 2 of their own. So this push not going to go anywhere, but it's Tessu with a nice double.
And we are seeing Tessu able to make another power here, not trying to save the other one, knowing that they can just make a new one and gather more clams. There's lots of clams on the map right now. Mirai trying to find some space to work with, not quite able to yet. Looks like they were going for that power, which is what I would expect of the junior, but instead the Splash seems to have it, which is also good. Also a very mobile weapon, allows him to get in and out really easily. The machine goes down, but they're trying to set up a jump on left. The gal does go down, it is just the Brush left. This should be a big push out of Ikaryoku as they're trying to find their way, and Bubbler coming out. and they're able to get out, take down that brush, and they just need to move up here and get that power clam, and they've got 12 more clams to get in. This should be a big push. They're all the way down to 50 already.
And look at these clams that are spawning right behind them. That's going to keep this push going. Able to get it all the way down to 38 remaining. But with that 3 down, it is just the junior, and this push should effectively be done. But the damage there, wow, 38 remaining.
That was a really well-organized push out of Ikaryoku. They did a great job, and I loved seeing that junior movement just then. The junior was doing such a great job maneuvering around everybody. They did sadly overextend a little bit into the other team, but before that, they were really showing what junior can get away with and how junior in its own way can be a slight skirmisher as a weapon.
But take a look at this. It's the brush from Ika Inc. able to make a move towards that basket to get that first power cram in. I don't think there's going to be much follow-up, which is definitely the trade-off you have with brush pushes, is that you're going to get the power clam in, but it's sometimes difficult to follow up on to get the additional
it definitely can be, especially if you're not used to playing around it. Like, I don't know, I'm sure that they're used to playing together in games, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily used to playing with the brush. Maybe brush is a new pick. It's definitely a weapon that takes time to learn how to make a strong push with, but once you figure it out, it's very, very good at it.
Yeah, certainly, and they come up just a little bit short, but they do have another power cram that's quickly built up in their favor, and with only 40 seconds to go, it looks like Ikaryoku is going to opt to take a defensive approach here as the specials are coming out, and Ika Inc. trying to get one more push going with this double that's going to be possible, as now it's only going to take 4 clams for them to get the lead.
Yes, and they do manage to take out the person with all the clams, which is so vital. Although they do have time to get more in. The brush manages to, but it is just that 52 gallon. They do go down. There was only 2 more clams needed to get lead, but they don't quite manage to. As that should be game to Ikaryoku. Really great usage of specials out of them. Really great pressure. And we're going to see Ika Inc. trying to get another power here, but I don't think they're going to have time.
No, it looks like it's going to be just short. They had 6 clams in their pockets, but not enough to build that power climb and extend it into overtime. And Nox, once again, we have a decisive game 3 for the 3rd round in a row.
Yeah, really incredible games that we're getting to see here on stream today for Low Inc. And I loved seeing that tri-stringer coming out. They were using their mists and whales so well to just apply so much pressure to the other team. The junior was moving forward with their teammates, which is what you want to see a junior do. And just really great gameplay out of that anchor and support. I know their Slayers did a great job, but everyone always highlights the Slayers. The anchors and supports deserve some love sometimes.
Definitely. Man, but these 2 teams have just been going back and forth here. With Ika Inc. having a slightly more dominant game 1, Ikaryoku has done an excellent job there in game 2, bouncing back to take that game. That one's definitely pretty close knit, and they came up clutch. But now, game 3, Splat Zone's Sturgeon Shipyard is where we will be headed. And I'm trying to figure out exactly, what these teams could do to possibly adjust their compositions to give themselves the upper hand.
I will say I don't expect to see that brush coming out again, because I feel like that was a Clamblitz specific pick. I could be wrong, but it felt like it was for Clamblitz,
I agree. I agree. I do think that brush was a more specialized pick for that situation. And it certainly helped them out. But Splat Zone Sturgeon, if you're not really a brush main, I don't think that's the choice here. So I think some crabs are definitely going to be sticking around here, as we did see the splash there in that last game.
Forge Pro might come back here.
Forge Pro, yeah, that's also a great pick. I definitely can anticipate seeing that here.
I would love to see the tri-stringer come back here. I think this is a great tri-stringer page. Yes, this is what a page is, map. This is a great tri-stringer map, because there are so many walls you can hit behind, and you have enough space to work as an anchor. It's a good anchor map in general, but I think tri-stringer especially can just do mist and whale shenanigans so well here. And I love seeing that T-Tech come out.
So, I do think that's probably the most unpredictable pick here, though, is those Dapples in a row.
We did see them come out in that first Rainmaker game. It is cool to see them coming out. That will be applying a lot of aggressive pressure. I am surprised to see those over the Tetra just based off of kits they have. And that is 2 down already on the side of Ika Inc. As the T-Tech is just going in here on this other T-Tech, able to win that fight, as they just have claimed mid so easily, and that Tri-Stringer is moving up to the enemy team snipe and just going to be able to rain down so much pressure and force so much unwanted movement onto that top left area.
Ikaryoku with a strong start here. Tri-Stringer trying to find a couple of picks around the various ledges here, but it's going to be the Booyah Bomb that comes out to try to neutralize the zone, and they will get the neutral +2 down, and it's not going to take much more for Ika Inc to get back control, but it's actually Ikaryoku with the numbers disadvantage that hold on just a little bit longer, able to buy their team just a little bit of time, but that jump is going to be costly, as now that's going to mean that most of the team is coming out of spawn now.
Yes, but we are seeing a lot of pressure coming out from this range blaster onto that Tri-Stringer, able to get the pick, taking advantage of that AoE damage that the blaster has. And the Tri-Stringer going down removes a lot of pressure and a lot of distraction. That it's likely that the frontliners of Ikaryoku are relying on.
Yeah, and look at this. It's Ika Inc. already taking the lead back here. And it's only a minute and a half in. We have a very high-scoring game between these two. The special is going to be coming out now from Ikaryoku, but they're not going to be able to convert to neutralizing this zone, and they are 2 down in D knocks, and this is starting to get really risky for them.
Yeah, it's looking like Ika Inc. was just able to get in and is just able to hold it so well. They keep taking out that Tri-Stringer, so there's not going to be any just lucky picks, and that's going to be game to Ika Inc. Just 1 hold for them. Really incredible gameplay.
Oh, wow. I mean, that went from 0 to 100 really quick, both figuratively and literally for Ika Inc. as they really got back control there and just never let up. It seemed like things were getting a little bit dicey for Ika Inc. in that opening minute, as Ikaryoku was able to really get a firm control of that zone. But as soon as that zone flipped, Ika Inc. just managed to ride out that momentum.
Yeah, they really did. They did such a great job with it. And I will say that one of the risks that you take when running an anchor on any map is that it can be way harder to break back in. They also can enable you to break back in. It's a risky game of you need them to hit their shots and manage to find that pick that allows your Slayers the easier path in, because you are missing out on some of those other options.
Yeah, certainly. And, they definitely executed that very well. To force their way, back in, and then on top of that, get the rest of the team staggered. And I think things really fell apart there for Ikaryoku with that jump in, I believe, by them. Shoot, I wasn't sure which weapon it was. Was it the junior? Yeah, I think that's where things really fell apart, because then that ended up being an effective wipe that Ika Inc. was able to now just punish and start moving up, and they knew where everybody was at that stage.
Yeah, they really did. They did such a great job of just keeping track of everything and keeping an eye on all of it.
And with that, it will be Ika Inc. that wins the set 2-1. And Nox, we have had some fantastic sets here. So we're going to go ahead, though, and wrap up. But before we do, got a little bit of an ad read for you all. With Stormbreak on the horizon, Molaway IT's first ever major Stormbreak is now up to an amazing $1,300. Wow. Don't miss an opportunity to strike on December 17th and 18th at 5 p.m. UTC, 1 p.m. EST. Be sure to join the Discord server, discord.io/MolawayIT, and grab the Stormbreak roll for more information.
And that will be it for me and DRF. Make sure you tune back in to round 4 of Low Inc. with Falco and Scap.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Low Inc. December 2022. My name is Falco Flyer, and I am joined here by Skepadillions. Skep, how are you today?
I am excited, eager, ready to go. I want to see these teams scrap. I want to see them push the tower. I'm so excited to be here. It's been a long time since I've been on mic for Low Inc, so it's nice to be back at it, and we will be starting off with Infectious Krakens Megalodons. I wonder what they're infectious with. I'm a little concerned for Lunar Lagoon on the other side. 6 feet distance, gamers.
Yeah, so Infectious Krakens Megalodon. I'm gonna have to just shorten that to Infectious. Can't say the whole name.
Yeah.
We tried to do a little bit of research before this. So they are not playing in Ludi, but Lunar Lagoon is a Div 11 team. So probably on the newer side of things, and no better tournament than to get your feet wet in the competitive side with Low Inc.
Yeah, it's exciting seeing new faces come in, not only for Splatoon 3, but for Ludi, right? Becoming actively involved in the competitive community is just such an amazing thing to see. Ludi is my favorite time of year. The holiday season, more like the Ludi season. For that very reason, I'm excited to see them play. And not only that, but where they're going to grow, because where we are at the start of the Ludi season, i.e. this Low Inc, is not where any of us are going to be at the end of it. So we will see how they do.
Yeah, so let's hop right into our first game, Tower Control on Inkblot Art Academy. One that has been really popular, I feel like, in the recent times coming. Taking a look at these comps, it looks like Ink Infectious. I like what I see from both sides. I like the blaster pick. I like, of course, the new weapons. I always got to point those out. We have the Z Mini and the T-Tech. Oh, this is going to be fun.
And the Dapple Nouveau on the other side as well with that torpedo. That's going to provide a lot of stim on that tower in order to be able to stall things out. But what I'm most interested here is definitely that Zinc Mini with that Toxic Mist to block those drops, as well as put that bubble on tower. We love it, we hate it, but it's a good way to push objective.
Yeah, I like how in Infectious, they're already putting on some pressure, quickly getting on that tower and able to push up. So Lunar Lagoon, it's going to be harder to fight back. You know, at this time, you can let the team take the first checkpoint. There's no reason to rush right in and trying to get paint, but man, Infectious making it very difficult for Lunar to even get close to this tower.
Yeah, we have Haven putting that wall up on flat in order to be able to break back in. They do. Haven and Sun on that tower, but there's a member on that right stack. They know where they are. They are shooting right at them. The Zimmy doesn't quite land the pick, but still on that left side, isolated as the members of Infectious Krakens are still in control of mid. The Dapples go down, the Tri-Strike comes out. This is a scrap, but look who's still in control of mid. That's the Kraken.
Yeah, and that's all you need at this point. And again, we haven't really had that much time, but Infectious already getting it to 64. That's going to be good for now. As long as you can kind of control the neutral game, you're going to be good. But Lunar Lagoon trying to be eager in getting on this tower, pushing some of these Infectious members out. They're showing that they can contend, and let's see how far that they can try and push.
They do have those specials, but they did burn a lot of them in order to be able to try and begin this engagement. This is a 4v4 situation with not a toe on tower, but as I said, that Mocha comes in and flanks from the left side, gets 2 picks, now going to be able to push up. They have that Reef Slider ready to go. That is going to be huge in terms of getting them on that plat. We have a jump in on that left side. It does get picks. The tower is at that first checkpoint, and the question is whether or not Sway Rose can do enough to stop that here. The answer is no. We have a jump on tower, but 10 points away from the lead. 2 members down on the side of Infectious. Will they be able to do it here? They will, as is just that Zimmy left as they barrel towards that second checkpoint.
You know, we see the blaster pick, or I'm sorry, it was on the other team, but we see the bubble on the tower, which is really going to be crucial at those checkpoints. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was going to work at first because they had to back off, but look at this map control and how it has changed throughout this point in the game. Lunar Lagoon now at this third checkpoint, it started off a little slow for them, and now Infectious are finding themselves in an opportunity where they have to try and fix this counter push and move this tower back to mid.
Lunar Lagoon could take a moment to breathe. Mocha is alone in mid. But that being said, they've already done a significant amount of damage. That tower all the way down to that third checkpoint. That is a lot of pressure for Infectious Krakens in order to be able to push all the way back up. They can do it. They have those 3 specials online. That is an edge. And look at where Haven is on that right side. If anyone tries to drop into mid from their left, they are going to have to deal with that 52 on their flank. They have 2 minutes to do it. That's a lot of time, but still, it's going to be a challenge. Oh.
Yeah, and look at... and, we do see a disconnect in the lobby. The score is past 16, though, so this one it looks like it will continue out as one player is still alive. So we're going to see a 3v4. Interesting now that the team who's losing is the one who DC'd, so we'll see if Infectious can bring this back. So again, you have to alter your playstyle at this time because the game goes on still when you have these types of disconnects. And if you're Lunar Lagoon, it's not really something you prepare for, but you just kind of have to deal with. So every obstacle you're going to have to try and overcome, and you're always going to be a player down, which is going to make it very hard.
There are some things in competition that we can't prepare for, but look at where this Blaster and Expo are. On that right side, they do have to deal with the Komodo. They get that pick. It's just the Zimmy on the tower. The Zimmy clears that checkpoint. They are going to be able to provide jumps, but this Expo doing a fantastic job of keeping Chip on that tower. That's a trade between the Mini and that 52. As Infectious Kraken goes to that third checkpoint, it's just the Expo left the 10 Yushu's trying to do everything they can in order to cap that tower. The Zuka comes out. It's applying pressure in that general direction, but 3 up for Lunar Lagoon as Haven gets that pick on tower. They finally have some space to breathe as they have man advantage for the first time in 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was absolutely crucial for Lunar Lagoon. Infectious just showed what they can do when they have a permanent player advantage, and that is pushing up. They got it all the way to 23. What's really nice for Infectious is that they did get past this checkpoint, so they're likely going to be taking this tower one more time, knowing they don't have to get past the checkpoint, but they do have to get halfway past the final checkpoint if they want to win. And now we do see a 2v2, so this is actually an opportunity for Lunar to come around with Mocha coming up this...
Oh my god, sorry, I actually clapped. Yeah, okay, so honestly that was really amazing because when that tower, when you are in a 3v4, when you are forced into playing a 3v4, there is nothing that you can do to prepare for that moment. No one's gonna scrim you in a 3v4. That's not gonna work. That being said, when that overtime buzzer starts blaring, if the tower is in mid, you only need to get it right once. And Lunar Lagoon with Mocha, with that flank, came in from behind, got the picks that they needed, forced the members of Infectious Krakens to doubt what they were doing to take their toes off of that tower, and came up right from behind them. Excellent play.
Yeah, it really was. And like you said, there's nothing you can do in that situation to prepare for. I mean, you know, typically if it's a scrim, if something happens in a DC, you just you either finish it out, but you assume the results kind of don't matter, or you just, now we can cancel the lobbies, which is great. But, you're put in a situation where you have to finish it out. You can overcome those 3v4s. It's doable, and it's always nice when you have the lead. And, again, Infectious did a good job, but it's a matter of getting that team wipe, getting that player advantage that Lunar Lagoon had so late into the game with about 10 seconds left, and it made it really difficult for Infectious. Yeah. They had one player who was kind of around the tower, but Lunar Lagoon, they had one player flanking, which I think was the key and helped them save the game.
Yeah, the drop from Mocha where they dropped from that left side of Plat, came around from the tower, came from behind. When you are competing, sometimes all it takes is a moment of doubt to lose the game. A moment of what should I be paying attention to most? Should I be pushing objective, or should I be addressing this flank behind me? The split second that it takes to make a decision that can be a turning point in a game. We are heading forward to Rainmaker Brine Water. This is a interesting map mode of sorts.
I like it. I know other people might have other opinions about this stage.
Yeah.
But in general, I like it. So, this is one of the only few stages in Splatoon 3 that has one checkpoint where you're gonna just have to take it. There's no 2 routes you can take. There's really, I believe, just one. So, the path is very predictable. There's not really an opportunity of, okay, should we go left, should we go right, what should we do? We have to take it this one way. And it looks like we will have another disconnect, so I believe this match will get reset essentially. And yes, so we'll make sure everybody's getting back in the lobby as soon as we can.
Something that makes Rainmaker Brinewater unique is this S shape that it has. With that first checkpoint being so close to mid, once that first checkpoint has fallen, there's really only one direction that you as the aggressor need to be looking at, and that's the opponent's spawn. So that makes it very feed heavy, it makes it very difficult for defenders, it's extremely attacker sided. Once that first checkpoint is broken, it could be over in an instant past that first checkpoint. So preventing that first checkpoint from breaking is all the more critical.
Yeah, and it's really hard because the first checkpoint's really not that far from mid. I mean, overall, the stage is very small, so you can get 2 players down, easily get to that checkpoint, and like you said, at that point, the floodgates can kind of open, and you know, you can push up to spawn, you can try and attack, and do everything you possibly can to prevent that KO, but it's tricky. You need to defend that first checkpoint. It's sometimes, yeah, if you just lose one player down, you're not going to have any opportunity where you can stop it, and it can kind of steamroll from there.
Especially given that right side, which normally, you know, like think Rainmaker Museum. It's a map mode in Splatoon 3, but it also has that top left area for once that first checkpoint has fallen, you can use that left area, and if they are pushing onto plat, you can move towards your spawn with them from a high ground and go with the fish and track them and continuously apply pressure. What's unique about Rainmaker Brinewater and Brinewater in general is that right side that runs parallel to the main street. You can't back up. There's a moment of commitment where you have this tiny little ledge to work with that overlooks the first and only checkpoint. And it's such a committal position because if something goes wrong, your only option is to either drop or jump out. It makes specials like Storm, Whale, Booyah, anything that can apply pressure in that fixed narrow area that is street, all the more valuable, especially on defense. Honestly, it might just call for sitting in spawn and putting down paint.
Yeah, if you have the lead, like you said, you can kind of just camp out up top, and you can see all of mid from the top ramp, and you're going to be in a position to do so to get those players pretty much no matter where you are. So it's all about just not letting the enemy take the push, and for how small this map is, that any paint that you have on the map is going to be even more important just because there's less retail space that you can have. So definitely something to consider. And of course, with this being a newer map, there are still things that people are trying to uncover, and of course it's small, so we feel like we maybe have seen all of it, but there's always things that can surprise us with Rainmaker, especially on this stage too. You know, like again, it just has one checkpoint, you have one route you can take, what you see is what you get, so not much to really overthink about. But let's hop back into this game 2 and to get this action started once again.
Simply frag. GG, go next. Get that first checkpoint and just start going. It's that fast-paced, quick, we are in your face, we are in your spawn playstyle that makes Rainmaker Brinewater so unique.
Yeah, one of the weapons I'm looking at in particular is Spicy Bread's not on the side of Lunar Lagoon. You put them in a tricky spot, you get the flanks. I feel like they're going to be unstoppable because I think Not is going to be Not is going to be a very good pick, especially as a weapon that could potentially come up and flank somebody like Charger on Infectious' side. So right now, nobody's seeming to opt for the Rainmaker. Lunar Lagoon kind of getting map control in mid. First one's to drop, but again, you don't want to push up too far or else you're just going to get caught into some trouble. So both of these teams are just trying to find a way to break in.
I think of it as similarly to Clam Blitz Mako, where if you step into mid and you go 3 down, your checkpoint has fallen and then all of a sudden you are forced to play defense for the rest of the game. See that Infectious Kraken tries to take the fish and swim towards that checkpoint. They do go one down in the process. So we are going to see Lunar Lagoon having to start play the defense game as that first checkpoint falls.
You know, I mentioned the knot on Lunar's side, but Infectious the Blaster is going to be really crucial here too. We saw it earlier shooting up against the ledge. You don't really have to be accurate with your blaster shots. They just have to be close enough that you're going to get some chip damage to potentially get a 2-shot kill. And as long as you can keep an eye on the knot or the explosher, that's going to be key.
And here we go with Sway Rose on that fish. 2 members coming on that left side. They do get picked by an excellent Zuka shot. They are at that 50 remaining. You have 3 members in front of you. At this point, there is only looking forward. They continue going, getting the 35 remaining, but it's just the fish left. They are going to get splatted here. There is nothing we can do about that. But getting to 34 remaining within the first minute and a half of the game is still quite a good push.
You know, Swayrose did a really good job being patient, letting their teammates push forward. It's hard when you go 2 down and you just have 1 more player left, because that's the moment where you're thinking, okay, I'm going to get splatted sooner or later. I might as well try and push up while I can so we can extend our lead as far as we can. And like we said, they got all the way to 34 with that push. And right now, the Rainmaker is going to reset as Lunar Lagoon going to try and find a response of their own.
Going to be real, 34 is extremely beatable for Lunar Lagoon. Like I said earlier, all they need to do is break that first checkpoint and then just look forward. They are a member down, they are having to deal with that blaster, those bombs, that is going to be a pick on the side of Lunar Lagoon, but not enough for Infectious to be able to take that corner. All they need is a pick on this fish here in order to be able to begin a push of their own. There it is. They have the paint down on their side of the map, but where are they going to be able to take this, especially as the members of Infectious Krakens are already respawning in their hair?
Yeah, when you have the Rainmaker and you're the only one alive and the enemies surrounding you, you'll pretty much do anything you can to stay alive, shoot right down. But speaking of staying alive, Lunar Lagoon getting to that checkpoint pretty convincingly and still holding on to what was going to be a player advantage. But now it looks like they are keeping up this pressure as they are getting set to pick up the Rainmaker once again and try and push this lead. There are some players who are already up there. One of them pushed up pretty far, but there's going to be 2 players who are going to go down. So this push isn't over yet for Lunar Lagoon.
It's not. Can this Expo get the pick? They do. It is just the Charger Sway Rose. They hardly need any space at all. That is the lead for Lunar Lagoon. Can he get to 19 remaining? Past that little block that's right outside of spawn, that is where the leads get narrower and narrower towards that KO. So the question for me is whether or not Infectious Krakens can get past that block in a minute and a half.
Yeah, you know, they do have the time, especially right now they have the player advantage too. They just have to take out this Explo and build their specials to do so. But Infectious, you know, they took it this far before. They took it to 34. They could have taken it a little farther, but it's all about the Rainmaker being patient and not getting flanked and shot down by this Knot, who's going to get a really good pick on them. So at this moment, any neutral, any 1v1 you can win if you are Lunar Lagoon is going to benefit you since you have the lead at this time, even though Infectious seem to have the Rainmaker on their side.
Yeah, this is a little bit sweaty. There's 3 down. It's just the 52. They are swinging. Look how fast they're going. The 52 is behind them. They don't get the pick. They get to the pedestal, but not all the way up. But that is 3 remaining now. The tables have turned. Lunar Lagoon has to KO They can't KO. Because Infectious Krakens comes in right from underneath of them, repumps that fish, and dunks it. We are 1-1 in a very exciting loading set.
Yeah, I love the aggression from both teams. Both of these teams did a good job. When they had the Rainmaker, okay, we know what our objective is. Our objective, push up our players, just take out any members that we can who are in our way. And again, it just goes to show how important it is to pave the path for your Rainmaker. And then when you have a close lead, when you're jumping into the Rainmaker, just go for it. You know, you might be a few players down, but at that moment, you know you just have a little bit more time, a little bit more units you need to get the lead. And that's exactly what Infectious did. They were able to just keep pushing it, keep applying the pressure, and ultimately, yeah, tying up this set. Lunar Lagoon looked good, but it was just a matter of, okay, who was in a better opportunity of having their players alive? And at that moment, Infectious just seemed to be on a roll.
I don't know how many times I'm going to quote K-Bot, who quoted someone else of whom I am not aware. what matters in a game of Splatoon is not how well you play throughout the course of the match, it's how well you play in an individual moment at your peak. And that's exactly what Infectious, Krakens, Megalodons did, because they had that one really solid push and they said, let's just keep going, keep looking forward, getting that repop and spiraling into that KO. Just absolutely fantastic play, and dare I say, it may have changed my opinion on Rainmaker Brinewater.
Oh, okay. So you like what we saw? I like
Yeah.
that. Yep. Perfect.
It may not be a good map mode, but I'll reconsider. I will continue looking.
Well, hey, I'm happy it's here. Honestly, I'm happy that quite a few of these new map and mode combos are going to be in the looting season. I know, again, Flounder and Brinewater are just very different from each other overall with how they're built. You know, Flounder now being the most vertical stage, it's Moray Towers light, as I call it, even though it's much more condensed and much more smaller. But yeah, it's
false equivalency.
Yeah. It just really depends on how well these players adapt to kind of these different types of stages. And yeah, Brinewater and Flounder, very different in their own regards. But now moving on to a map and mode that is very familiar with us, Clamblitz Eeltail Alley. Let's just hop into it, because I don't know if these players will really be changing their weapons. Again, we don't know what they have up their sleeve, so we are going to see some players sticking with the blaster pick. We see the not. So similar weapons, more or less, but no charger this time.
Can we look affectionately at the C Junior for a moment? Thank you, C Junior.
I'm ready for it too.
No, the little C Junior that could! Oh my gosh. Okay, so speaking of C Junior, here we go with Omega taking that fight with the Dapples on that left side. Torpedo versus Torpedo, and the C Junior comes out victorious. That is 2 down already on the side of Infectious Krakens. On Lunar Lagoon as Infectious Krakens pushes their way up to the plat. They are there. They have their bodies where they need to be, but they simply do not have the clams. And they are going to need to get them quickly before Infectious Krakens or Lunar Lagoon has the time to come out of spawn and stall this push out.
Early in a Clamblitz game, because we've seen Clamblitz kind of be stalemate-ish in Splatoon 3. If you're able to perform like Infectious is doing right now, they didn't get a ton of clams in, but they were able to score and maintain more map control. If you can keep that up, you're going to make Lunar Lagoon on their feet. You're going to have to make them scramble a little bit and maybe have a different sort of play style. So if Infectious keeps it up, they should be good to go, because they seem to be getting their 1v1s.
What had me so concerned was how pushed up they were despite not having the clams. It was like, excellent, you have control of mid, you have control of their side of the map, but where is objective? And if Lunar Lagoon could play objective better than Infectious Krakens has been doing, that's great, but in order to be able to play objective, they need to be able to win those 1v1s, win those 2v1s, which seems to continuously be going in favor of Infectious Krakens, holding that bridge as a solid line into mid.
Yeah, we did see one of the players of Infectious Krakens push past the basket to try and get some picks, overextending just a little bit. But look at this, the tables might be turning in Lunar Lagoon's favor as they're able to get a few picks now. The power clam is going to wisely jump out as it was hiding under the wave breaker. So this could be Lunar Lagoon's opportunity to score. They don't have any power claims or really any clams, but no. Now with just a not alive, it's going to only... Yeah, they're going to have to wisely back out of there, because Infectious Krakens, we saw what they did in the first 30 seconds of this match. They are very capable of doing that once again.
Honestly, this Torpedo Blaster combo absolutely scares me so much because of all that chip that's back into apply in such a claustrophobic area as underneath bridge in order to be able to begin Infectious Kraken's push. And speaking of clam management, look how well they're suddenly doing. They have those 2 power clams. Each member has a handful of clams in order to be able to stall this out. This is going to be a devastating push. 1 power clam, 2 power clams. They have gotten below 40 remaining. The Heavy has enough clams in order to be able to stall this out. 2 members up. Whether or not it's worth it, they don't agree. They jump out and going to begin another push, but what a fantastic engagement there, having everything that they needed in order to have a solid score.
Yeah, one of the things that actually helped Lunar Lagoon in that situation was their Explo, this player right here, because they were able to just sit back, none of the members of Infectious, they kind of threw in their claims and then backed out rather than trying to take down the anchor player on Lunar Lagoon. And if you're able to do that when the basket's open, you're able to move more freely around the basket and throw claims in certain situations that would be harder for the defending team to attack. But look at this, speaking of attacking, Infectious now on a push of their own once again. A few of their players now have some claims ready, going to get this in, and this could be the end of this match.
It could be. They have enough clams in order to KO this. Is the heavy going to drop? They do, and that is it. That is GG's. Infectious Kraken Megalodons taking the set with the mouthful of a name that they have allotted for themselves. Moving forward into Ludi. What I really liked about this set was how even it was. Despite the fact that that last match was rather a shutout, it's Clams Eeltail. Clams Eeltail is played differently than other maps. It does have that very defined defense line that is bridge, and holding that is just so important. And I didn't feel like Lunar Lagoon could really set that line. But despite that, the TC Inkblock game was incredibly back and forth. Lunar Lagoon able to hold despite a 3v4. And then the Rainmaker Brinewater game, it looked like Lunar Lagoon was going to take that up until about the last minute. So this was a much more even set than it looks on paper. Fantastic job to both teams, and good luck with the rest of your low-income groups today.
Yeah, like you said, two very, we saw in particular were very, very close. Infectious just seemed to get the ball rolling in that third game, setting the tone very early in Clam Blitz, and not really letting Lunar...
Oh, it would seem that we have lost Falco, but that is okay. We will be right back in a moment. Stay fresh, everyone. There is plenty of low-ink action where this last set came from. See you in a moment. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Low Ink's December 2022. This is our last Link for the year. I'm very excited. My name is Skepadillions, and I'm here with the amazingly talented, gifted, scene-lifting Falco Flyer. Falco, do you feel gas?
Yeah, thank you, Steph. Appreciate the warm welcome. Yeah. So we have a wonderful matchup right now. We have Team Biscuits versus Waterfront. Both of these teams are 3-1 and have the same opponent win percentage. So this is kind of the make it or break it point if you want to try and keep your hopes alive for Alpha Bracket. You go up 4-1, you are sitting in a much better position than being 3-2, and it really comes down to this, and honestly, both of these teams know that at this stage too. Teams that we have seen play in Low Inc, especially Waterfront, they've been in this situation before, so it's kind of the do or die time, and no better to do or die when you're playing on Splat Zone's Flounder Heights.
The team that wins the initial scrap has such a significant advantage on Splat Zone's Flounder. It's because you only have to look. I mean, like, yes, it's Flounder, there are walls, you're surrounded by walls, but realistically, like, you have, especially if you're running a slosher or like a roller, which I know Waterfront runs a carbon, it's just such a pain. It's like push into me. Like, that's the only thing you can do. And so if they manage to hold their power positions, if they are positioned where they want to be, then whatever team caps first, whichever team wins that first engagement, is most likely going to take the game.
Yeah, it can be pretty hard to break in, especially like you said, you have certain weapon comps that you just guard the ledge, those sloshers, and even, yep, and you're right, we do see Luckyo with the slosher, and we do see the sloshing machine too, so very, very wise choices. Both of these teams also running the Splash-O-Matic, like we have seen a ton, and I like the wiper choice from Ivy. I'm going to be interested to seeing this one.
They are almost at that wave breaker, but Waterfront losing that initial scrap.
Yeah, so Team Biscuits doing a good job now holding on to this, holding on to the zone as they try and push forward. But we do see the Ink Strikes coming out too. But they are able to save the zone. That's going to be helpful for Team Biscuits. But it's looking pretty good. Sorry, there's a little bit of technical things on our side that it's making it a little difficult, so I apologize if Skep and I are a little scatterbrained at this moment. But Team Biscuits doing a really good job holding on to the zone. And Skep, this is exactly what you said. You just get in a position and just start dominating.
And you could see that one member of Team Biscuits was watching that's Rafa on that left side. As Waterfront tries and push that in, Ivy pops the hammer. They do have that jump. This could be something, but it's not enough. Rafa dropping in on Ivy, getting that pick, and trades benefit the team that is at an advantage. So it is Waterfront that is going to have to continue to try and push in as Team Biscuits gets that 100-0 KO. Described. Am I sidekick, Falco, or
Hey, Skep, you're the one who called it. No, you certainly did call it. You know, it was hard because we couldn't really get a good grasp of what Waterfront was capable of during that game just because it ended so quickly. But, you know, it's just game one, and of course, like, it's going to be a play all three. But, you know, if you're Waterfront, you can't really change anything. The games that end that quickly, and especially in a snowballing mode, is going to be a way that you can. It's hard to take away from anything with that, I guess, is kind of the point.
we are trying to work out some we were in a tunnel, Falco. So we're trying to figure that one out, but hopefully we do have that sorted. Tower Control Sturgeon Shipyard is a very different experience from Flounder Heights. You have so many different areas to play. Unlike Flounder, where you're really encouraged to play that left or that right side, and yes, you can paint the wall, yes, you can go wherever you want, but realistically, where the opponent's looking, they're watching the walls. So with Sturgeon Shipyard, it's just like, bam! I went right side and now I'm behind you. Good luck pushing. I love Tower Control Sturgeon. It's a classic. I know some people are sick of it, but I think that's a choice. It's a base map mode. I love watching it. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get sick of TC Sturgeon.
Yeah, we'll see if we see the same type of sloshing machine slosher pick that we had in the previous game too, or if there are going to be some players who swap it up. But yeah, let's take a look here first. I'm especially interested in Waterfront's comp. I want to see if Ivy sticks with the wiper, and it looks like they're not going to be opting for the splatter shot. But the same comp, we're going to see the double splash. So something you see, especially at high level, top level Splatoon, Team Biscuits, really with the aggressive comp. Look at their weapons.
Okay, so the very, very classic double splash, well, I mean, double crab machine comp, making its return. They also have that saw, interestingly enough, not the penatech, which is what I personally have been seeing played high level in that comp, but it is going to play for them very well. They do have that double crab ready to go for that first checkpoint. They also have that Zuka in order to be able to shut down window. This is looking like it's going to be an easy clear for Team Biscuits.
Yeah, they really have made no mistakes so far, and Cora wisely guarding this left side to watch for some flanks. They are going to go down, which is going to give Lucky an opportunity to try and push up now. Two players are going to go down for Team Biscuits, as Waterfront now using some specials, throwing it towards mid. But this pressure from Team Biscuits isn't really stopping. Some of their players still able to push up, but it's just slowing down a little bit and now allowing Waterfront an opportunity to push in.
Waterfront pushing in, but I really, really liked how Team Biscuit played that. They cleared the first checkpoint and then they just said, let them feed. And that being said, they did go in, they did get the picks that they needed, but it was Waterfront that won those engagements. So now they are the ones in control of mid. We're going to see how this very slosher, interesting, whatever this is becoming comp, how that is able to fare against this extremely meta comp that we have been seeing.
Yeah, look at that from Matt. Standing on the tower, not even submerging in the ink to stay alive from the crab. Just say, you can't hit me, I'm behind this pole, what are you gonna do?
He has discovered the crab counterplay. May we all learn something.
I love it, but hey, this is looking really good for Waterfront. From what we had seen in the prior game, they finally found their footing about 2 minutes into the match, able to make this amazing push go from mid all the way to 10. So now Team Biscuits playing from behind for the first time of the set, but again, with their very aggressive comp, I mean, both teams have aggressive comps. It's just a matter of, okay, can we win the 1v1s? But now Biscuits needing to actually do that and push the objective at the same time.
And here they go, they get 2 picks on Waterfront. They have a very significant margin to push in order to be able to pull a lead here. But this crab from Smiley getting 2 very clean picks that is going to put them at an advantage here. Rafa here trying to take control of this spinner. They do have to deal with Lucky on that left side, but they are called out. They know that slosher is there, and knowledge is power. That second checkpoint has fallen in favor of Team Biscuits. There are 9 points to go. They are going right on for it, but Waterfront coming in and cleaning that up, getting the players that they need to off the tower, picking that Zuka. That is a superb defense from Waterfront here, as it is just that machine on the right side who does get a pick, does get managed on the tower. I can't believe that this push is not at an end yet, Falco.
No, Kip did an amazing job just keeping up the pressure at that moment too, which allowed the rest of the team from Team Biscuits to really push forward. And like you said, again, this push isn't over. They're allowing this Waterfront team to scramble and just scatter all around the tower. But look at this, that's going to be kind of a soft wipe. But no, players are going to be jumping on the tower. There's just chaos at the tower. Everybody is just trying to use your specials, do everything they possibly can. But Team Biscuits, you keep up this pressure, you're going to be sitting pretty good. And I don't know if it's still going on. I think it's finally over. So now we're going to kind of get that soft reset. But wow, that was crazy, Scott.
What a drawn-out, painful push. I actually looked down to my notes and wrote down that Team Biscuits won the game. And in the time that it took me to write 2 letters and look back up at the screen, Waterfront had barely clawed their way out from what was nearly a KO in order to be able to continue the scrap in mid. They have shown that they can have some heavy, drawn-out pushes, but will they be able to do this under such significant pressure in a 2-2 situation and someone coming around from that left side?
Yeah, well, I don't really think it's going to matter at this point, just based on how the other players were positioned. So still some pressure nonetheless, but Waterfront, they need to find a way to break in. Now, the problem is you don't have any backline player that you're going to really try and go up and flank and work your way back. You're going to have to try and get past 2 Splash-O-Matics if you want to get to maybe this Explode. So with a 2-player disadvantage at this time, it's going to be really hard for Waterfront to push. Team Biscuits, they seem to have sealed the... Oh no, Waterfront's now taking the tower once again, but that wipeout is now going to finally seal the deal.
Team Biscuits with that incredible, drawn-out, unforgiving, tactical, in-your-face push, just not... exhausting and draining Waterfront. So by the time that they did have that opportunity to continue to push, they were just physically unable to. At that point, your mind, after having such a staggered and uncoordinated defense of that final check, which you can't argue that's what that was. It took one player coming in and getting the double and stepping their toes on tower in order to start pushing that back. And then after that, it was just trades and 1v1s. That's not a coordinated defense. That's we are putting everything we have into this and we are not giving up. And what does to your headspace and the disorder that creates and the stress that puts on your mental makes it so much harder to come back from and formulate a plan as you finally get an opportunity.
Yeah, and of course, you know at that moment when you get to 10, your enemies got to 1, you have to knock them out to win.
Yeah.
There's really no room for error at that point, especially in the last 10 seconds. It's not, oh, we just need to get past this certain point. No, you need to get the knockout to get the win if you want to try and keep it. So Team Biscuits, they're going to be winning this set 2-0. We are still playing game 3 where Waterfront can prevent the sweep and still keep their hopes alive for a bracket that they may be hoping to get into. But, I mean, a dominant game 1 from Team Biscuits, still a dominant game 2 as well, with Waterfront able to respond and get a push to 10. But now with Rainmaker Macomart, if we see the same sort of aggression from both of these teams, it's going to be pretty hard to predict what will happen.
I don't know what's going to happen. That's what makes a good set. At the end of the day, everything comes down to a tiebreaker when it's with low wing. So giving everything that you have and winning that one game, even if you lose the set 2-1, that's still one dub. That might be the difference between you making the bracket that you want and not. Both of these teams want Alpha Bracket. There's no doubt of that in my mind. I know both of these teams want to win it. So they have to prove that right here and now. Either Team Biscuits walks away with the sweep, or Waterfront denies that right here, right now.
Yeah, and we see Team Biscuits, they're going to be going for a comp that it was very similar to what they had in the last game. Now going to be using a Slosher. And Waterfront's still kind of keeping up that aggression comp too. So it looks like Team Biscuit's going to be getting the first pop, but of course you don't need to go for the Rainmaker right away. You need to eye out your enemies, see where they are at this point, and it's hard for Waterfront too because, well, okay, never mind. It's actually really easy for them to get the wipeout. They're going to be doing just that as they take it to the first checkpoint, setting the tone pretty early. But you know, if you're Team Biscuits, you don't really need to freak out or panic just yet. Maybe on the second wipeout, that's when you start doing that. But I don't know. Did I speak too soon, Skep?
I think maybe just a frame or two, but Waterfront no longer near the fish in order to be able to get that repop. They do have one player, Ivy, up on that machine, trying to delay that path, but it does look like Team Biscuits is going to be able to get the pick that they need in order to be able to grab the fish and swing it right. But no, they're opting for a reset, but Waterfront is still in control of mid, so you are essentially giving the fish back to the team that already has control. as I say, that kick comes from that right side, does get the pick on that shot. The tables are turning. Team Biscuits is slowly dragging their way back into mid. Now they have the fish, and now they have their first opportunity to clear that checkpoint this game.
Yeah, that allowed Team Biscuits to at least regroup. They know that they wouldn't get mid right away and potentially wouldn't get the pop, but they were able to at least all stay alive at the same time and build some of their specials. So with that, that will get them to the 73, keeping this alive. But again, with how skirmishy this game has been, it's really just going to come down to that one wipeout that is happening at a crucial moment. And it could very well happen to Team Biscuits, given the opportunity. But with this paint control by Waterfront right now, it's going to be tricky, but we do see a flank. Can Smiley get the Rainmaker? Yes, they can. So keeping it alive and using the crab, trying to get some more map control at mid, as they are going to be looking to make the push of their own.
Waterfront only having one player left standing in mid, but they are going to quickly get that re-engagement. You can see that Ivy is prepping that left side. They are missed it, but Lucky was sharping that right side. So either way here, Team Biscuits is going to have to take some sort of scrap in order to be able to break back in the mid. Ivy getting that excellent pick on the tricycle. So they have that Booyah ready to go, but they are going to go down, holding that special. That's while they're while they're holding on to lead here, losing that Booyah is a critical misplay.
Yeah, it's not going to suit them very well, at least in this moment. But like we said, there's still plenty of time on the clock for Waterfront to try, or for Team Biscuits to try and make their push. And they've come from behind before. They've done it in Game 2, which in tower control is going to be a much more slower, patient pace. But now they're going to be picking it up, trying to take it, I believe, on this right side with the help of the Inkjet. Now going to be opting towards the left where they have more player support. It looks like they will get to this checkpoint, and I don't know if Waterfront was really prepared for that, but they are able to get some picks and protect this lead.
That is a wipeout in favor of Waterfront. They did break that checkpoint, but now it's Waterfront once again in control of mid. And they are just so quick to get up exactly where they need to be. You've got that one on the right stack. You've got one pre-firing the left side. They have special. So in order to be able to pull lead here, not only does Team Biscuits have to break through this wall that Waterfront has successfully set up, then they need to deck across the entire map in a minute while Waterfront has the fish, but they go 2 down. This could be their opportunity if they're able to capitalize off of this.
Yeah, it's looking like it could be, but look at all the action that is going on the left side of the Rainmaker too. Now Smiley trying to get back in action as well. This is still not quite the do or die time with 1 minute left, but more of, okay, this is an opportunity for us to regroup, build our specials, and try and push forward, and that's exactly what Team Biscuits is doing right now.
Team Biscuits has the fish. They lose their splash. It is a 3v3 situation. That bubble not going to keep them from making this jump. Waterfront is 2 down as Team Biscuits starts working in that right side. They are not bringing the fish in. They are going for that flank, but Waterfront getting the pick that they need to in order to be able to stall this out. It is just Rafa. Rafa has that jump from that tri-saucer in order to be able to try and break this. This could be their last opportunity. They grab the fish, but they go down to the crab on top left. Waterfront refusing to give this up. Long is getting that pick on the fish. Just what a mess on that left side of the map.
Yeah, but that actually gave Team Biscuits the lead now. So it seemed to work out in their favor. So they've played the come from behind game. Now Waterfront is going to have to do the same thing. They did a very close job in tower control and couldn't quite get it done. So, but look at this flank scap. Look at that flank from Team Biscuits.
Team Biscuits, absolutely. You can't get tired against them. You can't get sloppy because they will simply play that game better. And Team Biscuits taking the set in a clean 3-0. They are now 4-1. Heading on to round 6 of our Swiss stage. So their alpha bracket chances are looking hopeful. Waterfront, good luck with your last set of the day. I expect some serious dubs. But both of these teams played phenomenally. I was left breathless at multiple times this set.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to the map and mode combo for both of these teams with how aggressive their comps are going to be. Team Biscuit's going to be one to watch out for during the final round here on round 6, which we will get headed to shortly. But before that, we are going to take a break, and come right back. You guys are watching Low Inc. December 2022.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Low Ink December 2022. If you were just tuning in, my name is Falco, and I mean, oh my god!
I'm sorry.
My name is Falco, and I'm here with the wonderful, talented, blob-lobbing player, Skepidillions.
Yes,
No,
my name is Skep, and I love the blob so very much. I love to use it, and I like Moray Towers. Anyways,
Hi, I'm Skep.
We're gonna be moving on to our last match of the day. Sanguine Seas versus Alliance of the Dam. Sanguine Seas, the only undefeated team in bracket in Group B, I believe. So with a 100% win rate so far, Alliance of the Dam hoping that they can knock them down and take a set off of them. So this is kind of the moment. Will Sanguine Seas win day one with a perfect set?
When we say that Sanguine Seas is killing it, not only are they 5-0, but they have a 100% win rate. So hypothetically speaking, this is such a significant weight on Alliance of the Dam's opponent win percentage that even if they lose this set, as if they manage to take a game, they could quite possibly still be looking alpha bracket as a 4-2 team. 100% win percentage. That is insane.
Yeah, it really is insane. And even though Alliance of the Dam, they're thinking about what could happen, assuming certain results end a certain way, we know that they're just going to try and take this one game at a time. And we don't really know if they look into seeing, okay, we're facing the team who's completely undefeated. All that they see is that they have one more opponent ahead of them, 3 more games, and 2 more to win a set. So that's really their motivation right now.
One game at a time, indeed. I won't deny being excited because I have a former teammate playing with Sanguine Seas that is Squash. He plays Tent and Dualies, or at least he used to play Tent. I don't know about nowadays. I mean, C Jr. kind of made that very unfortunately obsolete.
All right, taking a look at these comps, we do see the Dually pick on Squash, like you had mentioned, and then I do like the Charger on both sides. It's something we would kind of expect at this stage, and then also the Tetras on the Alliance of the Dam.
So we can see very quickly here that is it a 3v3 situation. Squash dies and tries to get the pick on Moth, does so, but loses to Xyler here, who's maintaining that power plant. Are they going to be able to deal with the crossfire from Sanguine Seas? And that is a solid no. A successful defense from Sanguine Seas at what was an attempt at an early push here from Alliance of the Dam.
Yeah, Sanguine Seas, they have some map control, but not really opting to push for it now as the E-Leader is just painting everywhere on their side. They are now in a better position with the Crab up towards mid, so not quite in a position to push forward quite yet, but with some of these specials that are now being used and these players going down one by one on Alliance of the Dam, could be an opportunity for some of these players to make a push. And we see Ceres here going on the side to try and get a pick, and now tossing the power claim back to mid. So just holding on to this mid game is seems to be working for Sanguine Seas.
I could not believe the confidence. Not only are you holding the power clam, your opponent knows that you're about to drop on them because they can see you, but the confidence to just say, nah, I'm winning that fight, and drop anyway, and then win it absolutely boggles the mind.
Yeah, there's Sanguine Seas still trying to push forward, not really making a big attempt to push towards the basket. They're really going for these picks, making that their priority, but that's just going to make Alliance of the Dam scramble just a little bit more, as Sanguine Seas members are now approaching these Alliance of the Dam members from every angle. And look at this map control when this basket opens, Skep.
It is huge, and they are going to be able to dunk and continue to dunk. They do have to worry about that player on that top right side. The splash does drop and change that for them. They are going to find themselves pinned. It is just the splash in mid. That is a wipe on the side of Sanguine Seas. Alliance of the Dam has a moment to breathe, but now they know exactly what they are fighting against, and they are going to know they are going to have a cover.
Yeah, that was a 2-minute slow burn push for Sanguine Seas, allowing them to get to 35. That is very impressive with how well they were been playing. But now Alliance of the Dam trying to counter this push on their own. They have 2 power claims, going to get both of them in. One more ready, but they lose 2 players. It's going to be hard to find an opportunity for them to break in. And especially with that wipeout, that is going to be their push. So Sanguine Seas playing really dominant on defense and getting more map control at mid is going to set them up pretty well in these next few minutes.
Sanguine Seas says the best defense is a solid offense. Really doing well in that last engagement. Alliance of the Dam having to throw everything that they had at it in order to be able to push. And here we go once again. Sanguine Seas is on their plat. They have 2 members there. They have that Booyah bomb that's going to force them back. They are going to live against that bomb and that chip, but they have to deal with that player in mid that's coming in for the play. I'm going to not win that 1v1, having to live through this Trizuka now. That's a failed push from Sanguine Seas. They have no choice but to fall back.
Yeah, they are going to have to fall back. Thankfully they didn't lose a lot of the map control, as it seems to be split pretty even with just Alliance of the Dam maybe controlling a little bit more at mid. But Sanguine Seas, they did a really good job painting much earlier in the game, which could help in the long run. That just means you don't have to do it later on if there's some tricky spots that maybe Alliance of the Dam hadn't been prepared for. So right now, Alliance of the Dam, what they need to do, other than, win these 1v1s, they might have to put themselves in positions that they didn't think they would have to be at before, such as some of these ledges, especially for the Charger to maybe get some snipes and try and be sneaky. But with the map control that Sanguine Seas has, it's really hard to find an opportunity to break in.
Aggro Charger. 40 seconds left in this game. Sanguine Seas holding on to that lead. That lead is beatable on the behalf of Alliance of the Dam, but they are going to need to stay alive in order to do so. They are doing well at managing their clams. They consistently have a couple of clams in each player's hands, but not enough to be able to push with it. Zyler trying to get a pick on plat with that crab. The trip strike does come out. The crab does go down. That's a back on their plat, but they are going to find themselves completely surrounded. 2 down on the side of Alliance of the Dam. Golub trying to go in or disengage. 10 seconds left, and they are forced to have to play overtime.
Yeah, they're going to have to play overtime and manage their clams, which is going to be even that much more tricky. There's really not one single objective you have to do. You have to worry about a lot of things at this opportunity, at this moment. And with the way that Sanguine has been playing, you have to try and avoid this Charger, who's going to make it very difficult to break into the basket. You see the Goldev here with the tower clam, they're not able to really make any move, and with that, an overtime ending, it's not going to work out for them. Sanguine Seas is going to be getting the win on game 1.
Sanguine Seas continuing their 100% win streak throughout this low rank. Looking forward to continuing that on Splat Zone's Wahoo, which is infamous for its lockouts. But regardless, Alliance of the Dam, they did put in the effort. The pushes that they did, the push that they did get in was because they threw everything they had at it. And that's what it's going to take to defeat this buzzsaw that is Sanguine Seas.
Yeah, I think, too, what helped Alliance of the Dam, they were able to allow Sanguine Seas be patient and know that, okay, we now have an opportunity to see how these teams are playing, how these players are playing. They knew that Sanguine Seas was playing the patient game, so Alliance of the Dam, they had that respawn and able to get 2 power clams in to get some score, to get some points on the board. But at that moment, then we just saw kind of the 1v1s and just the crazy map control that Sanguine Seas had the whole time. And it was hard for Alliance of the Dam to break back in. But like you said, moving on to Game 2, Splat Zone's Wahoo World, kind of lockout city here when the Salmonids aren't invading it. It's hard because this zone is so small, too. One of the small in the games. So you cap that zone, you back up, you get your picks, you sign, seal, delivered, they're yours, you know?
It's another situation in which the opponent controlling a particular part of the map, in this case, the opponent's plat, is one of the very first things that a competitive Splatoon player learns. You know that you have to control the opponent's plat on Wahoo, and you know that you need to be looking up on those waves that are right in front of you while also watching left glass. If you're able to do that in a coordinated team, in a team manner, unless you choke your 1v1s, the other team is not going to be able to break back in. It takes so much time to swim from spawn, to swim to either left glass or those waves, or jump in. It's just, if you're wiped twice, that third time, you better get it right, because that's all it takes.
Indeed. And let's hop into game 2. Let's see if Alliance of the Dam can turn it around and get a win over Sanguine Seas, or if Sanguine Seas will keep their streak of a perfect low ink in track.
Here we go. They've got that machine and that ballpoint with that inkjet. I do think that ballpoint is going to be quite a powerful presence in isolating that top right in particular. If they manage to get picks on that top right, that is going to further stagger their control of that flat. We quickly see Alliance of the Dam being the first to lose a member.
Yeah, they're going to be losing 2 at this point, too. So if Sanguine Seas can capitalize on this, and look at this, Squash already just poking around to seeing who's around the corner, going to go down to a trade. Now mopping a 1v1 versus CRS, and actually going to be taking them down. This triple ink strike, it's going to be good to help cap the zone just enough to do so. So Alliance of the Dam showing more momentum than they did in game 1 at this stage in the game. But again, it's still just about 1 minute in.
Can we rewind and take a moment to look at the snipe rider on the side of Alliance of the Dam? This is legitimately my first time seeing that weapon played in a competitive environment.
You know, I do too, and I just glanced at it, thought it was a charger, like, okay, yep, charger, we've seen that before. But no, this is going to be a weapon where you want to be focusing on your charges, because you can't swim and hold the charge like you can with most of these chargers too. So it all just comes down to positioning and accuracy at that moment. But now look at this push. Sanguine Seas still capping the zone on holding onto it. Equora helping with the inkjet, locking out some of these Alliance of the Dam members, and it just goes to show this map control so important for Sanguine Seas as they're able to get their 1v1s.
This is where things are going to start getting sweaty. Alliance of the Dam only having 2 members left standing. It looks like 2 of them are going to go down to the X-Flow shots from the Crab there. 9 ticks remaining. It is just a splash. Xyler is going to need a hero play in order to break back in. Opts not to, playing for picks at the end of that game. Sanguine Seas, once they got that lockout, that was GG's.
Indeed. You know, Alliance of the Dam showed more strength earlier on in this game than they did in game 2. But, you know, Sanguine Seas were really quick to respawn, throwing all their specials on the zone all at once. And again, at that point, just coming down to the 1v1s, and Skep, like you said before, kind of how important the lockout is too at this stage. So Sanguine Seas just one step ahead of Alliance of the Dam. Now, we know it's not over again. Of course, we have one more game. We know Sanguine Seas are going to go up in their set 6-0. But of course, Alliance Dam, what they have left here is, okay, we need to be one of those 4-2 teams who has a better record, better win percentage than some of these other 4-2 teams. And no better last win to get than getting one off of the perfect Sanguine Seas.
Right. I was just going to say, imagine you are in the final game of Low Ink. Your opponent has gone undefeated the entirety of the tournament this morning, not dropping a single game, and you've got one last chance to win it. What's that Eminem song you got? You know what I'm talking about.
Do.
Yes!
Okay.
Slay! No, for real. They've got one last shot in order to be able to be the one and only team to take a game off of Sanguine Seas. I also can't state how impressive it is that Sanguine Seas has made it this far in the tournament without dropping a single game. That's just incredible, objectively so.
Yeah, and no matter the tournament that you're playing in, and of course this is game number 18 for all these teams, any tournament that you go 18-0 in is going to be incredible. Of course, it's not over yet. Like we said, we still have one more game, Tower Control, Flounder Heights, I'm sorry. And
No, you said it right the first time.
that was actually a pickup from a previous tournament, and I can't get that out of my head from now. It was an FNF2 thing. Anyways, Alliance of the Dam hoping to just get one more stop here on Sanguine Seas, and they did better in Game 2. Let's see if they can keep up that pressure on Game 3.
That we shall see. We do see that E-Leader coming out on the side of Aquira. That's going to be very, very dominant in terms of looking forward on Flounder, which we have previously stated is that much more important. Interesting change here that we are going to be seeing from Alliance of the Dam, bringing out that Zimmy for tower control.
Yeah, Zimmy with the, I believe the Toxic Mist and the Bubbler is, it's always a good choice. Everybody loves Bubbler on tower, unless you're not the one using it. But it's gonna benefit you, and that's kind of a comp that I feel like a lot of people are now maybe discovering as, okay, can we work with this? Because it's not super common, but it's not uncommon when people use it. But speaking of things that are uncommon, look at this push by Sanguine Seas, easily getting past that first checkpoint, now approaching the second checkpoint. When you have this crab on tower, it is hard to push to it.
They literally rotated crabs in the same position. We saw Squash pop crab in that area where the tower was going to fall. And then we see Saris there also pop the crab on the tower in order to be able to break that second checkpoint. Just crab after crab after crab on behalf of Sanguine Seas. But we do see Alliance of the Dam, they do defend here momentarily. They do go 2 down. This is going to be another opportunity for Sanguine Seas to push when they are ready. It looks like they may be gearing up to do just that.
Yeah, so it's hard now for Alliance of the Dam too. You have some of these specials, but again, it all comes down to the map control that Sanguine Seas had. And Ceres now just waiting for one of the members to drop down, now trying to catch them, are going to be winning the 1v1 against Xyler. So that's going to be good for them, but Sanguine Seas, look at this, getting 3 players down. It's just the T-Tech who's going to be live, who's going to have to back out. So Alliance of the Dam, they tried to push towards the tower, but Sanguine Seas just one step ahead of them.
And here they go, they get another push. They do have that crab ready to go for the third and final checkpoint here on Flounder Heights. We do see Golub here trying to put up some sort of a defense here. That Booyah Bomb does come out from the side of Sanguine Seas. They get to that third checkpoint, but the machine goes down. Saracen's 1v1 with Golub does lose that fight. That is another successful defense of Alliance of the Dam.
It is, and they're getting these stops at the perfect time too, right at the third checkpoint. So if Alliance of the Dam were able to take the objective like they are now, if they can get past these first 2 checkpoints, they could be in a better position than Sanguine Seas was before. But it just comes down to which specials can we use at our checkpoint? How can we protect ourselves? How can we watch the flanks, which is exactly what Peace is doing, making sure that members of Sanguine Seas aren't dropping down, and that's allowing Alliance of the Dam to push this tower forward.
Take the game. Take the game. They can do it. They can be the first team to beat Sanguine Seas on the game today if they manage to snowball their energy here. Once they break onto top mid, that's where their opportunity really begins. Their opportunity is not in elbow. Their opportunity is not with the tower. It is with top mid. And they keep managing to get up there. But just going a couple players down at the time just slows that momentum.
Yeah, and where these checkpoints are too has really shown kind of the choke points of this map. But Sanguine Seas is not needing to get past that second checkpoint once again since they already got past it. Getting to the third one finally, and now extending their lead. So Alliance of the Dam is going to be scrambling just a little bit as Aquira is on the tower, gets past this checkpoint, has a wave breaker ready, and if Sanguine Seas can keep this up, they're going to be sailing all the way to victory, especially with the pressure of these crab tanks. Double crab now working together. Love to see it.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal. You pop both of those crabs and you're like, either you did it on purpose or you're looking at your teammate like, whoops. They do manage to get picks here, but not enough to continue that push. Sanguine Seas having to fall back with a minute left in the game.
Yeah, so Alliance of the Dam not out of it, but if you look at how far they have pushed, if we could see the death count on screen, it would be higher for Alliance of the Dam. And you just have some major uphill battles you have to face if you want to try and get this win, especially against a dominant team like Sanguine Seas. But look at this 1v1. This could be an opportunity if Goldeb can find a way to take down the last member. That could set up Alliance of the Dam in a good position to do so. But they are gonna get to the second checkpoint, so things are looking a little promising for Alliance of the Dam.
The Zimmy clutch, will we perchance see that? Is the Zimmy the hero of this game? Squash trying to fight the member on that plat. We do see a member of Alliance of the Dam on that tower. They quite possibly are going to break that checkpoint. It is stalled out on 50, but Mob pops back on. They do have jumps to the tower, but Squash coming in, assisting with that double. Sanguine Seas taking the tower back with a clean 3-0 victory over Alliance of the Dam and a clean 100% victory over the entirety of Low Ink Day 1.
Sanguine Seas going 18-0 in Low Ink December 2022. This is definitely going to be a team to look out for in Day 2 tomorrow. Alliance of the Dam ending at 4-2, keeping their hopes alive to make the alpha bracket. Man, I want to see the replays from Sanguine Seas too of just their previous games, because that is really, really impressive. I believe that they are the only Tenta Shrimp Cocktails also went 6-0 from Group A with a winning percentage of 72%. So very, very good effort by Alliance of the Dam. Sanguine Seas, congrats on your perfect Day 1.
I'm scared of them. They're in my looty doo. I'm gonna have to fight that, and I'm not looking forward to that. Regardless, what a phenomenal day for Sanguine Seas and Alliance of the Dam holding on to what they've got. That being said, Falco, we have some things to discuss, don't we?
We do. So, Moleway IT's first ever major storm break is now up to an amazing $1,300. Don't miss an opportunity to strike on December 17th and 18th at 5 p.m. UTC, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to join the Discord server, discord.io/MolewayIT, and grab the storm break roll for more information. This is going to be incredible. I have the pleasure of commentating Day 2 of it, and again, we love to see majors. This is going to be Moleway's first major, so definitely throw your support. And hey, look at that prize pool. You can't complain about that type of cash.
There are two things that I'm really excited about for Stormbreak. Number one is the unique format. I had a couple of conversations with the head TO for Stormbreak prior to what had come across as the finalized decision for the format. Something that makes this incredibly unique is the double elim into double elim format. That's something that simply, to my knowledge, has not been done in Western Majors. So your Day 2 bracket will depend on the round in which you were eliminated on Day 1. So you're guaranteed at least 4 games. But another thing that really just absolutely blows my mind is I checked the registrants yesterday. There are 22 teams signed up for a prize pool of over $1,000. I simply cannot believe that the registration is that low, other than the fact that maybe people don't know about it. So no more excuses. I better see those registration numbers up today, because they have been working so hard on this event, and all of you have a real chance to actually win a portion of that prize pool. So please go sign up. It's next weekend.
Yeah, we know more teams will be signing up towards the deadline, but you don't want to miss your opportunity. Even if you think, hey, there's no way I could win that money, you're going to be getting a good quality matchup, because like you said, Skep, your Day 2 bracket's going to kind of depend on where you fell in Day 1. So even if you don't think you have a shot at the money, you have a shot at getting some quality gameplay, some quality results. So definitely a great opportunity. Make sure you sign up for Stormbreak. It's going to be amazing. Happening next week over on Moleway IT stream.
Without further ado, we are wrapping up our Low Ink Day 1. There will be plenty of splatting action tomorrow on Day 2, but this is the last that you'll hear of me. You will hear of Falco tomorrow. So other than live here on IPL tomorrow, Falco, where can the good people find you and your excellent work?
Yeah, you can find me FalcoFlyer on Twitch. I stream a lot of solo queue there. FalcoFlyer11 on Twitter. I'm also hosting Ludi matches on the Splatoon Tourney Twitch channel. It is a separate channel not affiliated with Ludi, but we've had some quality games already this past weekend. There's not going to be any matchups tonight, but if you are interested in having your Ludi set casted, be sure to reach out to me. We have amazing commentators, amazing overlays. It is fantastic. Skep, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, not for the rest of the Ludi season. I won't be streaming for the rest of the Ludi season, but you can find, ideally in the future, you can find me on Twitch, Twitch, and TikTok at Skepidillions. And also that new Hive thing that people do. Yeah, I'm there too.
Well, this concludes day 1. Day 2 is going to be starting tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you check in, stay in the loop for your Discord brackets and all that good stuff. Right now, we're going to go off on a raid, and we're going to see what Squid School's up to, seeing what they're doing today. You guys all know and love Gem, so we're going to be heading their way. This has been Low Inc. Day 1, December 2022. We hope you have a fantastic day.
Stay fresh. All right, we got through it.